It's that moment again, the one you dream of every night. La seule chose qui te préoccupe, c'est la gloire. Le cheminement de la réussite, of pushing yourself further than ever before. But the true glory is in the shadows. Les sacrifices que tu fais, quand toutes les chances sont contre toi. When you can't push one more second, chase the glory. Visez haut.
U-Sports on CBC, les championnats U-Sport, brought to you in part by, vous êtes présenté par, Nike Team, Just Do It, faites-le. Baron, exclusive supplier of U-Sports championship rings. Le fournisseur exclusif des bagues de championnat U-Sport. Fox 40, celebrating a decade of the Fox 40 U-Sports Coach of the Year program. Fier partenaire des prix de l'entraîneur de l'année U-Sport depuis 10 ans. By Veraburn, proud medical supplier to university sports since 1979. Fier partenaire du sport universitaire depuis 1979. The Government of Canada, le gouvernement du Canada, et par Mikasa, l'étoile menton du volleyball, le V200W, ballon officiel de U-Sport. And by Mikasa, makers of volleyball's hottest star, the V200W, the official volleyball of U-Sports.
Welcome inside War Memorial Gym. We're outside in Vancouver. It's cloudy and 10 degrees. And inside, we have the U-Sports Women's Volleyball National Championship, where the Trinity Western Spartans are about to defend their national title against the UBC Thunderbirds. And this is on Thunderbird territory here at War Memorial Gym. My name is Tim James. Emily Cordonier, former Thunderbird, with the call this afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us. And going into this one, Emily, you've got to talk about Trinity Western. Yes, they're defending national champions. They're so hard to prepare for because they have such a balanced attack. I know a lot of the discussion, I mean, you and I are talking about Savannah Purdy. She's a first-team All-Star in U-Sports, but she hasn't been the difference maker necessarily in those first two matches of this national tournament.
No, and that's not to take anything away from her play. It's just by how strong the entire team has been and how Dora Conlotti has been able to move her attack around, really setting a number of different options, and particularly bringing in that middle attack and getting, tremendous efficiency out of the middle blockers like Kaylee Plouffe.
We saw Kaylee Plouffe, of course, in last night's win. That was a straight sets win over Dalhousie. As the noise starts to pick up here at War Memorial Gym, but we saw Kaylee Plouffe with a career-high 13 kills. We'll have a little more on her as we set this matchup up in just a moment. But taking a look at this again, maybe we'll touch on the bracket with the Spartans defeating Dalhousie in straight sets. And the Tigers, if you aren't just joining us, just winning the bronze, and which is big, Emily, because this is also something for Atlantic volleyball in that conference.
It was huge for Dalhousie. They came from behind to take it in a fifth set game that went into extra points. And a bronze medal. That's the first medal for Atlantic Canada since 1984 when Dalhousie took the silver. And what some people tuning in might not know is the medal standings here determine berths to nationals next year. So by winning a medal, Dalhousie has assured that Atlantic Canada will actually get 2 spots in nationals next year, which has not happened in decades. So fabulous win for them. I think it really set up the crowd well. Everybody that was filing in, filling up War Memorial, got really into that bronze medal game. And now, I mean, you can hear it, you can feel the energy as we are heading into this final.
Because both these schools are from the lower mainland. Of course, you have Vancouver having the UBC Thunderbirds, and then about a 50-minute to an hour drive away in Langley, Trinity Western University, the defending national champions. UBC coming off of last night's victory in 4 sets over Manitoba. We'll have more on this matchup in just a moment, including some of the players to watch as you were watching the U-Sports Women's Volleyball National Championship, the gold medal match on CBC, presented by Mikasa.
They don't do it for the likes or for the shares. They do it for the fun of it, for the thrill, for the camaraderie, for the memories. CBC Sports, just because they love it.
Welcome back inside War Memorial Gym, where you can hear some of the fans from Trinity Western celebrating the defending national champions coming out for their introductions. And let's talk about one of these players that we touched on briefly in the pregame just moments ago. Emily, it's Kaylee Plouffe out of the middle. She had that career-high 13 kills in last night's win over Dalhousie.
13 kills and 4 blocks. She was player of the game for Trinity Western just in her second year. She's really stepped up and makes things easier on those outside attackers when you can get your middle blockers going on the attack like that.
And we can expect, well, with Kaylee Plouffe, we should mention she's one of the returning players, because when you look at the Trinity Western starting lineup, 6 of the 7 out there in the starting lineup will be graduating at the end of the season. And it's a similar story for UBC. 6 grads for the Thunderbirds. And one player let's talk about when we're talking about middles is Jade Robertson, who was running that step around so effectively last night.
Yeah, it was so great to see UBC really get Jade Robertson going, because they don't always have tremendous success with their middles. Unfortunately, UBC's middles have suffered a number of injuries this season. Claire Cossarini last year was a starter, but she was out all season with an injury, just coming back now. She's been on the bench. Jade Robertson, she's one of those seniors, such a leader out there on the court. I loved seeing her just really getting rolling. As you said, had success on the step around. She had 7 block assists in that win. And I hope that UBC can really put up a fight in that middle position again this evening.
We've got Thunderbirds fans and Spartans fans here. And by the way, if you are a fan of the Spartans, you may already know this, but on the men's side, the Spartans have won the national championship. That match happening in Hamilton earlier on. So that was a final in straight sets, the Spartans winning. On the men's side, will it happen for the women? To set you up here, UBC, you can see them wearing the white shirts. They will be on the left side of your screen to start out this one. You can see some of the fans with the orange buckets.
Oh, that's
they
the
are
UBC men's team right there. They've got
the
shirts. They've been making the shirts with all the UBC players and coaches on them. They've got the Home Depot buckets out. And they're just one of the many UBC teams out there in the student hype section. You got football, you got basketball. There's a lot of players out there supporting, but that's UBC men's volleyball front and center.
Now, at the very least for the Spartans, they won't be serving on that student hype section side just to start. They're on the opposite side wearing those blue jerseys. You saw moments ago Savannah Purdy wearing number 15, one of the standout players for the Spartans. Again, they have such a varied attack. They could go any which way. I don't know what we're going to see, Emily, here, but I know as a volleyball fan, we are in for something great. It is UBC entering number 7, the Spartans, the number 1 team in the country, defending their national championship. Here is Dora Kamlodi, one of the 6 graduating players for the Spartans. The setter getting us underway at 4:51 Pacific. Back set from Oxland, and Oxland getting the start is the setter for the Thunderbirds, and already using the block to score, UBC is up by 1. Oxland standing at 5'8" in her 4th season. Kamlodi in her 5th year on the Trinity Western side, also at 5'8". Auxland out of Vancouver, sending this one past Mealy and out of play. And it's already a good mix of fans here. Again, it's not a far drive from Trinity Western to UBC. Here's Savannah Purdy to put this ball in play. Again, the setter for Trinity Western in the back row. This front row for the Spartans, including Kaylee Plouffe in the middle, who we touched on in the pregame. Here's Auxland. Going with the back set to Pennant. Plouffe coming over for the block. It's Mealy and Plouffe. Trinity Western with an impact play early on.
Big block there by Plouffe, getting her team fired up and ready to roll. It'll be Savannah Purdy, the first team All-Canadian, going back to serve.
Savannah Purdy missing some matches during the regular season due to injury. She is back and healthy for this one in the championship. Megan Mealy tracking this down. So again, the presence for the Spartans at the net, giving UBC some difficulty. We haven't even talked about the Spartans' offense necessarily. It's the defense, the block going up and shutting down UBC. Purdy in the back row, and she is a threat from behind the 3-meter line. Sends this ball across. Misplayed by Payson, it's going to be an ace. Thunderbirds coach Doug Reimer standing up and in discussion with Jost, so let's see if the serve-receive changes up here. Casey Jost, the libero, wearing the blue shirt. Let's see if the ball goes back toward Payson. Purdy with the serve. Sending this to Jost and mishandles this. It's another ace.
Another service ace, race to Casey Jost, who was the Canada West libero of the year. She's so solid in the back row, but not able to handle that one, and Doug Reimer calling for an early timeout as UBC finds himself down 5-1. And you know, one thing we didn't mention is really how intense of a rivalry that UBC and Trinity Western do have. These have been two tremendously solid programs over the last couple of decades where they have found themselves constantly in battle for Canada West championships, often training national championships. UBC had a tremendous run there of a number of championships, and then Trinity Western coming in and winning a number themselves, and of course they're the defending champs. When these teams played in regular season this year, they went to 5 sets. Trinity Western coming out on top both nights, but really close games, very exciting games. So you add that plus the fact that these are both kind of like home teams with really great fan support, and you know, you're in for an exciting match.
Both of those matches, as mentioned, back in November, with the Spartans coming out in front on both nights in 5 sets. And Emily, it also takes me back to 2019 at the National Championship. I flew out to Edmonton to do play-by-play. It was the Spartans versus the Thunderbirds in that opening round. It also went 5 sets. Never was the lead more than 3 points between the teams. An exciting start to that tournament. UBC ending up winning at Nationals in 2019. Here's Mealy. Kamlody going to Plouffe. Picked up by Auxland, so setter taken out. Here's Vermette going to work, going off of hands to score. UBC scoring the first point out of that break in the action.
Smart play by Erica Vermette, facing the big block. She aims high, she swings hard off the hands of the blockers.
Here's Elise Pettit, one of 6 graduating players for UBC. Clipping the tape, coming across, diving forward was Purdy to keep it alive, and then O'Doom has that comeback in her face as Payson and Kovacs put up the block for UBC. We've already seen the block for Trinity Western. Here now it's the home side with a huge one.
Bryn Payson looking hungry at the net. It was a tighter set, and she just got so aggressive, reaching up and over.
Pettit going to Purdy. Kamlody on the move, maybe make a back set to O'Doom. This time it's not Power, tipping it over the block. Auxland with a bump set over to Payson, looking to go down the line, taking out the center. Here's Gamache, over to Mealy. We've seen her effective on the block, going to the swing this time. And here's Jost, sending it shallow. Plouffe. They're going to run in middle, and Plouffe is rejected in a one-on-one against Kara Kovacs.
Kara Kovacs in the middle with the solo block. Not a traditional middle starter for UBC. Played most of the season on the outside, but again, just trying to find the best lineup with certain injuries. She has stepped up in this middle role.
Lodi. O'Doom was shut down, and here's Mealy sending this one out. So look at the momentum changes. It was 5-1 when the timeout was called, and all of a sudden UBC right back in this one, and the home fans definitely something to cheer about and make noise about. And perhaps we'll look at Spartans coach Ryan Hofer. Keep an eye on what might happen if this momentum continues. Standing serve. Gamache able to handle it well. Here's O'Doom now hitting out of the middle, and that will trickle down the tape and score. So O'Doom not able to get it to work on the right side, this time hitting out of the middle and scores.
O'Doom likes that ball. She's the right side attacker, but they bring her around in the middle to hit a high 53. She gets just a little bit of a lucky break off the tape for that kill.
5 straight points for UBC. It was interrupted. Here's Oxland. Payson trying to tip this one. That was dangerously close to the antenna. Oxland with a back set. Readjusting was Kovacs. Hit out of the right side. Now she'll switch to the middle. O'Doom tipping over top of the block. Easily picked up by Jost, the libero. Payson away from the block and scores. Hammers that off of Clay.
Michaela Clay a little bit late getting outside to close the block. She didn't have her left arm pressed back over the net. And that allows Payson to go hard off her that hand and gets it down on Trinity Western side.
Here's Kovacs as the middles rotate front to back, and she will be off the mark. So again, if you weren't just joining us, earlier on it was the Dalhousie Tigers, a thrilling 5-set matchup that they won bronze over the Manitoba Bisons. That is a huge victory for Atlantic Canada as well when it comes to which teams will be playing in nationals next season. Here's Ansa O'Doom. She's one of the threats for the Spartans. Will send this one 2 feet too far. And also on the men's side, the Spartans have already had something to cheer about with the men picking up a straight sets win in the national championship hosted by McMaster. Turning our attention back to the women's match here, a substitution before Vermette serves, as Michaela McBain will come onto the floor for the Spartans. She is a defensive specialist. Up next to Gamache, and this will drop in. Purdy moving over and lets that one go, and it just drops in.
It did. It looked like it was going to go further. Savannah Purdy certainly thought it was sailing out of bounds, and the bottom just drops out of it and lands well within the line.
The first team all-star caught off guard. Here's Vermette going to a similar part on the court, and Purdy struggled to get that one. Gamache will send it over shallow. Vermette. Here's Oxland going over to Payson. It turned into a one-on-one. Payson was up against the setter Kamlodi at 5'8", and she had lots of real estate to send that back. It is the home side now up by 2.
Payson cranking some balls out there on the left side, getting things going here for UBC.
Vermette going to Purdy. Kamlodi forced to make a bump set. Mealy hitting into the position 6. Now number 6 Oxland with a back set to Vermette coming out of the back. Gamache to Mealy. Able to redirect this one after a one-on-one up against Roberts in the middle on the UBC side. Kamlodi over to Mealy, and a one-on-one scores going up against the setter. We saw it previously, UBC going up against the setter. This time it's Trinity Western, and the Spartans score the point, drawing within 1.
Jade Robertson couldn't get out there in time. She thought it was going the other way, and that gets the one-on-one. Megan Mealy making the most of that. She'll go back to serve.
Mealy, who is from Calgary, sending this over to Pettit. Bryn Payson, the pride of Delta, scores.
Well, the captain for UBC, Bryn Payson, really leading her team.
UBC first to hit double digits. The assist to Oxland going over to the left side with 2 blockers up, Clay and Kamlodi. Setter in the front row for both sides right now. Here's Payson. Going to McBain, the defensive specialist, who just subbed in only a few points to go. Gets cut on this one. It's an ace for Payson.
She's got 3 kills so far in the game, and now she's got an ace to add to her point total. Bryn Payson at the service line.
1 timeout taken so far. That was when Trinity Western jumped out to that start, 5-1. UBC slowing things down and responding now, taking a 3-point lead. Purdy with a roll shot picked up by Jost. Stepping around is Robertson. It worked last night, and it works again tonight. The middle scores on the step around.
Tremendous job by Robertson. She found herself just with 1 blocker. Going up against Savannah Purdy, she sees her arm, she cuts it past her cross court and finds a lot of open court.
Here's Payson. Gotta wonder, the Spartans getting closer to taking a timeout. Kamlodi on the move, going over to Savannah Purdy. Dug up though in the back by Payson. Bump set over to Pettit, facing 2 blockers. Gamache in perfect position to take that. The back set, a difficult set by Kamlodi. Although it's Oxland who makes an attack, and somehow Mealy keeps this alive. Purdy sending it over. Now it's a free ball, but who's going to take the second ball? It's from Robertson. Now the Spartans able to run in system. Stepping around is Clay, but unlike Robertson, unable to finish. Robertson will fake. 2 blockers still going up against Pettit, and this will score. Sent down the line, and crashing to the ground was Mealy. UBC scores.
What a tremendous rally by both sides. Such defensive hustle to keep it alive, and it's Elise Pettit who gets the finish. Having vision, she sees the open court down the line and pushes it there, and that is going to force the timeout for Ryan Hofer and the Trinity Western Spartans.
His first timeout. Both teams have now taken 1 timeout. Yes, to start this one up, it was 5-1. Everything was going the way of Trinity Western, and now UBC, and they really have the fans involved early on. You've got to wonder if they can continue this momentum. Again, UBC maybe not expected to be in the gold medal match earlier on, as they were, yes, the host, but they lost in the quarterfinals in the Canada West to Manitoba. But they have earned their way back, grinding through the past 2 days, and here they are ahead of the national champions by 5 points in this opening set.
You know, one thing UBC hasn't managed to do yet this championship is win a first set. They dropped the first set on the opening night to Brock. Wasn't their strongest play. They managed to answer back. They dropped the first set last night to Manitoba, and then again managed to answer back with 3 straight sets. You know they don't want to let Trinity get up one. Trinity is so strong, right? They're going to keep fighting all game long. So they want to change things around here. UBC wants to earn this first set. They're up right now 13-8. Bryn Payson still serving for the Thunderbirds.
And the Spartans do have that varied attack, so let's see where Dora Kamloti goes. She's in the front row as the setter for the Spartans. Gamache going to Kamloti. She'll send this across to Purdy. Oxland down to her knees, going to Pettit. And Clay is going to drop this one in from the right side. Clay is going to score, and I think that's something, Emily, that we can see time and time again tonight potentially, as you'll see Clay is the middle, going to hit from the right side. You won't see that as much from Kaylee Plouffe, who's now front row middle. Michaela Clay in her 4th year of eligibility, but one of 6 graduating players for the Spartans. Jost mishandles this, claps her hands in frustration. Pettit chasing this one down. McBain. Here's Purdy going down the line, and Vermette unable to handle it as it bounces into the net. So now the Spartans trying to change the momentum here with Clay serving.
Well, it starts with the pass. Clay putting in some tough serves here. Casey Jost struggling a little bit early on with her serve receive.
And with Clay back serving, no libero out there for the Spartans as Gamache is on the bench, although you do have Michaela McBain, who is likely to be the libero next year. Picks that up with one arm. And then going down the line is Savannah Purdy, the pride of Victoria, picking up the kill. And there we go, momentum starting to switch up after that timeout that was called when it was a 5-point difference at 13-8 for UBC. And here we are, now it's just a 2-point difference.
Tremendous swing down the line by Savannah Purdy. She saw a little window. The blockers were pressing back cross court.
Oxland over to Pettit, and she'll have that come back and hit her. That might have been headed out, but it makes contact with the left side. And here we are, 4 straight points for Trinity Western, and it won't be a timeout by UBC.
UBC's going to make their double substitution, bringing in Lucy Borowski into the front row, which gives you 3 attackers. And the first-year setter, Issy Roberts-Shaw, she comes into the back row.
So Roberts-Shaw out there now. Change up at the center position. Roberts-Shaw. That's going to be tipped over, picked up by Kamloti. So second ball, there seemed to be some communication there on the Spartan side that delayed it, but eventually they make contact. And Kaylee Plouffe making contact, and here's Jost diving back, couldn't get to it. The Spartans with 5 straight points. What did head coach Ryan Hofer say in that timeout?
Well, it also coincided with Bryn Payson, who'd been the real spark plug for UBC in the front row, heading to the back row. Elise Pettit has struggled a little bit more, trying to find her swing.
Play 2 feet too far. So it will be a service error, ending a 5-point run by Trinity Western. Each team has used 1 timeout so far. For UBC, it is Roberts-Shaw, the setter, now in the back row. The Spartans have their setter in the front row. That is Kamloti. Gamache, Kamloti. There's Mealy. She's shut down. McBain there for the coverage. And then dumped over by Kamloti. Not always the most offensive setter, but gets to cash in here. And we're tied up at 14-all.
perfect timing by Komloti. There was a lot of room. Jade Robertson was in on defense instead of Casey Jost, and Robertson was fairly deep in the court. Komloti taking advantage of that.
Anso Doom returning to the floor in place of Michaela McBain. The two blockers up, Komloti goes to Gamache. Here's Savannah Purdy, able to wind up into that one, but good penetration from Kovacs and the block for UBC to put the Thunderbirds back ahead by 1.
Great job by Kara Kovacs, standing at just 5'11", one of the shorter middle blockers you'll see out there right now, but playing much bigger than that when you see her go up so high and get a tremendous block. Put UBC back up by 1.
Here's Oxland back in as the center. Mealy, Komloti, middle attack by Plouffe, and it's a good one when the Spartans can run the middle. They have been so effective this tournament. Savannah Purdy will go back for her second go-around. Now, unlike previous seasons, if you haven't figured it out by now, no technical timeout at 16 points. So with 15 all to score, number 15 sending this across, that is Purdy. Pettit going off of hands to pick up the point to put UBC back out in front by 1.
High and hard off the hands of Plouffe. Gets the point for UBC. We are just trading points back and forth now. Pettit will head back to serve.
It's a 4-player serve receive for Trinity Western. This ball will go to the libero, Gamache. Plouffe on top of it, scores out of the middle.
Perfectly teed up by Komloti, and Plouffe just had the one blocker. Comes in with a huge swing, painting the sideline.
Here is Plouffe, who played in 67 of the 86 sets for the Spartans during the regular season. Komloti diving over, but it's Kovacs and the Thunderbirds. They go ahead by 1.
Well, when you have an outside hitter playing the middle position for you, you know, you can be creative there. Kara Kovacs comes on the right side and just takes a full right side swing attack.
So Kovacs now in the back. That brings Robertson to the front row. Mealy. Kovacs with his second ball over to Vermette. Hits that at a sharp angle. Picked up though by Komloti. So out of system, the Spartans will send it over shallow. Now Oxland. This will be tipped over. Trinity Western in transition, able to convert. As that's Michaela Clay out of the middle this time. You can expect her to hit out of the right side this time. A clean middle swing.
Well, UBC putting some easier tips over the net, and Trinity Western making them pay as they pick that one up nice and easy and come back with a big swing out of the middle.
O'Doom, who is graduating. This is her final match in U Sports. And going off the block is Payson. A big smile on her face, causing an eruption here at War Memorial Gym.
Her efficiency right now is looking pretty good here in the first set. She's on the board with 4 kills, 1 service ace.
Each team still with 1 timeout taken as that ball goes into the net. So this will send Megan Mealy back. She's out of Calgary, one of the strong cities in Western Canada when it comes to volleyball. You have Calgary, Langley, some of those cities with reputations for producing players. Purdy, who's from Victoria, goes off the block. Gamache. Back over to Purdy. Second time will be a charm. Last touch off of UBC.
Tremendous job by Savannah Purdy, who got denied on her first attempt. She looks to change things up this time, going high down the line. Gets the kill and puts Trinity Western up by 1.
Casey Jost in this serve receive. This will go just to the left of her as Pettit plays the ball. Payson, roll shot, dug up by Purdy. Out of the back is Mealy, flipping the tape coming across. Payson readjusting her approach. Komloti with the back set, trying to throw off the block. What a set and a nice swing by Clay. The Spartans offense puts them ahead by 2.
Tremendous athleticism by Dora Komloti. She was pushed forward, running forward, but just tees it up perfectly. And that back set to make that connection happen.
Mealy will go into the net. 1 point between these teams. Hope you are having fun on this Sunday afternoon. And you can stay connected with us, myself, Tim, and Emily doing the color. Send us a message at usportschampionship@gmail.com. And perhaps you might want to do that during this set break, as we're having some fun watching the volleyball right now. Here is Payson, the captain, sending it to Gamache. Kamloti. There's Clay out of the right side. Jost, excellent hustle as the libero to get there. Payson goes to Gamache on the free ball. There's the back set once again by Kamloti, but Clay is shut down. Kamloti, this time will go to the left side. Doesn't work for the Spartans. UBC will have a step around, and trying to find the end line is Robertson. She was so good yesterday out of the right side, and again she's making an impact here tonight.
I love that she didn't tip it just over the block where it had been picked up previously. She used her vision. She saw the hole in the deep corner and makes a very smart play. If the attack wasn't there for her, she really just chose a smart tip.
Gamache, Kamloti using her momentum to set up the left side. Purdy. Here's Oxland. Goes to her left side. Pettit able to send that between Neely and Gamache to score. And here we are, UBC reversing momentum, now ahead by 1.
Trading points back and forth. UBC gets Bryn Payson going back to the service line. She had a solid run when she went back to serve last, but then UBC got caught with her in the back row, and they got stuck in a few of these rotations. They want to keep her serving and put some points up.
Maren Bolden just subbing in for the Spartans, and this ball's going to go away from her. Gamache takes it. So Bolden already going to work, and she is blocked. After just subbing in for Savannah Purdy to play defensively, goes into the block. So they're not afraid to use the rookie Bolden. And here we go. The second timeout called by Spartans head coach Ryan Hofer, with his team now down by 2.
Well, we knew it was going to be close. We knew it was going to be exciting. And so far, this has not disappointed. We've seen the lead trade back and forth at least 3 different times. Who's up? UBC starting slow. They were down 5-1. Doug Reimer calling a timeout, and then we saw them surge back, and then Trinity Western flipping the switch. They had to call their timeout, and I guess whatever the coaches have been saying in these timeouts is taking hold, because the teams have responded.
And I think we're enjoying this. We're kind of bouncing up and down, Emily. We're having fun here, but also the people here at War Memorial. And you have actually played matches here. And what is it like when you have a gym full of these fans banging their drums? They've got their noisemakers, they're shouting. And not only do we have the UBC fans, but the Trinity Western fans have come out as well.
Well, it's just incredible. And I hope that both teams feel the energy and use it to play their best rather than be distracted by it. Because there's really, so far anyway, I've just heard a lot of positive cheering and cheering from both sides. And I know that's just so energizing when you feel the crowd behind you.
So the Spartans back in this serve-receive after that Trinity Western timeout. No more timeouts for Ryan Hofer. Emma Gamache in the serve-receive with Mealy to her right, Bolden to her left. Again, this ball not going to the rookie Bolden, who just subbed in 1 point ago. Clay with the step around, recycles the ball. O'Doom over to Bolden. She is blocked, having a tough time getting through. Third time a charm for Bolden. She's going to go off of hands, and play is going to be blown down. It's awarded to UBC. The Spartans called on the net.
Spartans called on the net on that one, and even before, I think there was a little bit of discussion of whether one of those Spartan attacks even cleared the net. But Trinity now really having to work to get back in this set. They're trailing by 3.
So Bolden, we had seen her come in previously in a third set and put 2 kills together earlier on in this tournament. This time not able to be subbed in and make a difference, as she's now subbed out. Savannah Purdy is back in this serve-receive. So Gamache in the center of it. All attention on Payson now to put the ball in play for UBC. Thunderbirds up by 3. Kamloti. Here's Oxland going over to Pettit. Good power on that. Nice job by Kamloti to keep the ball alive on the Trinity Western side. Here's Oxland going for the dump. Gamache, quick reaction by the libero. Purdy going off of the block and scores. 2 blockers in the way. Oxland and Robertson, and Purdy picks up the kill.
Well, and because Oxland took that dump attempt, she couldn't get back to the outside in her normal blocking position, found herself in that middle blocking spot. The timing off slightly between Oxland and Robertson on that one.
We have seen Michaela Clay have some success from behind the service line, sends that down the line, picked up by Payson. Here's Pettit, has to readjust, sends a roll shot in. You know what? Goes with the off speed and picks it up. It's not always power, sometimes it's precision. So Pettit's in the front row. Oxland in the center, also in the front row. It's Robertson in the back to put this ball in play. That serve goes long past Ansa Hodoum, who is riding the end line there.
Well, UBC's got another chance at set point. It'll be Komladi, the setter, who will go back to serve.
This is a good rotation for the Spartans with Komladi back. You've got 3 attackers up as Komladi was averaging .42 aces per set during the regular season.
Tough serve.
Hodoum on top of it, so there you go. So far so good with, again, Komladi back. Put this ball in play. The setter playing in all 86 sets for the Spartans during the regular season. Lots of action. Last year she was sharing time with Olivia Heinen, who eventually graduated, so Komladi has been the setter, getting all the attention this season. And we have a timeout called by UBC, and I guess, Emily, you and I can catch our breath here again. Oh my goodness, what a day of volleyball.
Well, and you mentioned this is a strong rotation for Trinity Western. I'd say not as strong for UBC. They've got the setter in the front row. They've got Kara Kovacs in the middle in the front row, and Elise Pettit, but just the 2 attackers. We'll have to see if they stick with this or if Doug Reimer ends up using that double substitution that he goes to from time to time to get 3 attackers in the front row as well. They've still got another chance here at set point, leading by 1.
Again, the noise picking up, and if you are just tuning in, earlier on, Dalhousie winning in 5 sets over Manitoba. So the Tigers, the bronze medalists at this national championship. And before that, we had 3 matches on this Sunday schedule. In the consolation final, it was Mount Royal picking up a straight sets win over UQAM, the champion of Quebec. So congratulations going out to Mount Royal, ending the season on a winning note. Same story for Dalhousie. And now, who will end their season on a winning note? Will it be the Spartans or the Thunderbirds? Set point. Komladi needing to get this ball in, and she does for Met. To Oxlade. Back to Kovacs, and she scores. The right side, hammering that off of the libero.
Well, and this is what they did there. Kara Kovacs in the middle, but they bring her out to the right side so they can swing with a left side and a right side. And Kara Kovacs getting it done for UBC. Shut the door on the first set. Can they carry that momentum into the second? Trinity Western, you know, they've been here before. They're championship winners from last year. Looking at this UBC team, despite the seniors, most of these players have actually not even been at a U Sports championship. They did not qualify last year. They were not there. So I'd say in terms of experience, Trinity Western has it. You know they can battle back. Who's going to bring it here in the second set?
Second set coming up. You were watching the U Sports Women's Volleyball National Championship live on CBC, presented by Mikasa. It is electric here at War Memorial Gym. UBC taking that opening set 25-23, Emily, after a slow start for the Thunderbirds. That timeout called by Doug Reimer and reset things when it was 5-1 for Trinity Western. So I don't know what we can expect here at the second set, but we were just talking about it off air. This is kind of what we expected, this high energy, but also the way these teams have come out. They're playing with some fire early on.
Absolutely. I think, you know, maybe coming into this tournament when UBC didn't qualify, they came in as the host, ranked 7th. Maybe we didn't think that this was going to be the matchup in the final or that it would be this close, but seeing how UBC has risen to the occasion and performed this weekend, you know, coming into this game, I felt this is going to be some tremendous volleyball no matter what the outcome. And this is what they're proving, a back and forth set, both teams pulling out a number of different weapons. But certain players stepping up. Really great to see on UBC's side, their captain, Bryn Payson, having a fabulous opening set there with 4 kills, 1 service ace. She hadn't been the difference maker really in either one of the early games. Solid, consistent player, but coming alive here, really rising to the occasion.
And you can see some of the crowd shots just moments ago that, yeah, we've got more than a few Trinity Western fans. They have set up. They are loud here. So it is electric inside War Memorial Gym. We wish you could join us here, but you can also stay connected with the broadcast team. Myself, Tim James, and Emily Cordonier doing the color. usportschampionship@gmail.com. Kamloti over to Purdy. And it will be the first team All-Star in U Sports. Purdy picking up the kill to start things off for Trinity Western in this second set. Purdy with 4 kills in the opening set to lead her team in that category.
Great swing by Savannah Purdy. She went OT, a nice high reach on that swing, going up and over the block to find some room in the deep corner.
Payson with the first contact outside the court is Vermette. That was an ugly touch there, so Trinity Western will go up by 2 points. By the way, the Spartans in that opening set hitting an efficiency of 15% up against UBC. The attack was at 24%. Pettit with 4 kills. Payson had 4 as well. Jost going to Oxland. And then Kaylee Bufus rejected Kovac, who we've seen swing out of the right side this score, this time putting up the block for UBC. The first point for the home side in this second set.
Wasn't a great play at first by Kovacs to kind of tip it over easy, but she saw that. She knew she had to be ready and answer back for that swing.
And Purdy is blocked. Again, it was Kovacs going up with Payson. And we've been talking about the blocks here, Emily, because we had 4 blocks for the Spartans in the opening set, 4 as well for UBC.
Both these teams are aggressive blocking teams. And so every attacker, when they go up, they got to know they're facing some pretty big hands.
The standing serve by Pettit going to Gamache. The Spartans on 3 contacts, put it over but can't finish. And then going into the net is Payson, kicking the ball in frustration. It's now the Spartans back out in front by 1. This brings up Savannah Purdy. Purdy with some success from behind the service line with 2 aces so far. No service errors. Oxland with the back set. There's Kovac setting at a sharp angle. Just 1 contact for the Spartans going over. Oxland staying off of the net. Tipped over. Kamloti taken out. Second ball from Gamache. The libero going over to the left side. Mealy. And there's Vermette with all kinds of a wind-up, but it was Plouffe and Mealy putting up the block for the Spartans. And now Trinity Western head by 2.
Solid Spartan block. Mealy and Kaylee Plouffe reading that so well. Great close block.
3 players behind the attack line in the serve receive for UBC. It was Payson making the first contact. Here's Vermette getting on top of that. And it was Gamache as that was sent down the line aggressively. O'Doom, she can hit the heaviest ball and will send this one hard. And Jost was going hard for it, couldn't track it down. Trinity Western back up by 3.
Some very solid defensive plays by Emma Gamache to keep the Trinity Western momentum rolling and make that opportunity for O'Doom happen on the right side.
Here's Purdy with her setter in the back row, Kamloti. Jost going to Oxland. Kovacs with a quick middle attack, taking out the setter. O'Doom waiting and seeing her options. There were 2 blockers up. Here's Payson. She's going to be tight to the net with her left hand. Tips this over, picked up by Gamache. In system, it's going over to Plouffe, and she scores. Dropping that just to the left of Jost. A kill out of the middle for the Spartans.
Well, the Spartans are rolling now. I wouldn't be surprised to see Doug Reimer call for a timeout, try and change that kind of momentum the same way he had to do in the first set when they found themselves also down by 4 points.
Similar situation here. We are live on CBC. This match presented by Mikasa. Tim James alongside Emily Cordonier. Purdy, Kamloti, and O'Doom goes boom from the right side. It is now a 5-point lead for the Spartans. All eyes potentially on Doug Reimer here. Will he call a timeout early on in the second set?
It's going to happen. He's making the call. Doug Reimer calling for a timeout. Some very tough serving from Savannah Purdy, who's really making things difficult for UBC to get their offense going. We've had to put a number of free balls over the net And that is setting up the tremendous offense from Trinity Western. O'Doom with back-to-back huge swings on the right side.
And you know, we were talking so much about Savannah Purdy throughout this tournament, but she definitely hasn't been the standout in those past 2 matches. But here, we're seeing the serving, we're seeing some attacks as well, leading her team in kills with 5. So maybe this is the come-out performance from that first-team All-Star out of Victoria.
Well, and sometimes it's not all about leading in kills. It's about getting a lot of those little things done. And I love the composure that Savannah Purdy shows on the court. She's very calm throughout. You can really tell that players look to her for her leadership, and she's getting it done on the service line right now, making things challenging for the UBC passers.
We were talking about some of the energy earlier on. So the Mount Royal Cougars, by the way, winning that consolation final in straight sets, also a team that really plays with their emotions. When they lost and were relegated going to the consolation bracket, they were emotional, but it was nice to see them bounce back, and whether it's shouting, whether it's encouraging their teammates, they brought the energy once again, and Mount Royal winning in straight sets with energy earlier on in that consolation final over UCAM. Casey Jost setting up in the serve receive. It is Savannah Purdy out of that first timeout called by UBC. Purdy is going to send this toward Jost as well as Pettit in the back. Kovacs going off the block. Gamache able to track this down, so it's a free ball for UBC. Oxley sets herself up and goes to Kovacs out of the middle. Kamlodi on the move, a tough set going to Mealy, who rolls this in. Oxley with the back set, the block still able to get over there. Jost picking it up. There's Payson sending it down the line. No, this is just going to go out.
Oh, calling that one out of bounds. It was close. Great rally from both sides. Such tremendous defense for Trinity Western. And then Casey Jost picking up ball after ball for UBC, really taking charge in the backcourt.
3 players deep in this serve receive, including Jost, and it's going to go to a similar spot on the court. That third ball is going to sail out. So Doug Reimer's already used 1 timeout. Well, it was 7 serving 2, so a substitution coming up here for UBC. Lucy Borowski set to step on.
Lucy Borowski coming into the right side. Erica Vermette will head to the bench. UBC getting themselves in a hole, down by 7. Need to change things up, and it starts with getting out of this service rotation.
So let's see what Borowski, the kinesiology student, can do on the right side. Kovacs tipping this over. There's O'Doom again with the power from the right side, and she can celebrate as the Spartans are the first team to hit double digits in this second set.
I don't think Bryn Payson or Kovacs even got over the net on that block. They went high, but not penetrating at all with their arms.
UBC with another substitution, Akash Grewal, the sophomore out of Vancouver. Stepping back in this serve receive. Savannah Purdy looks like she's huffing and puffing a bit. She's been busy here.
Tremendous service run for Savannah Purdy.
And this drops in, untouched ace, her 3rd ace. Doug Reimer has made substitution after substitution. Previously there was a timeout, and he'll go over to referee 2, Steve Hewitson, and say, all right, I'll take out time number 2.
I mean, it's only 11-2. It's early in the set, but down by 9 points, and Coach Reimer needs to use his 2nd timeout already.
A 4-point run for Trinity Western. Savannah Purdy, we've talked about tough rotations with Dora Kamlodi serving, but here we are, Savannah Purdy, who's racking up the aces, and she was a threat throughout the regular season as well. She was averaging .46 aces per set during the regular season, playing in 72 of 86 sets for Trinity Western.
She's got a challenging and consistent jump float serve that has really put UBC in a lot of trouble here. They have not been able to get many strong passes off to even set up their offense. We've seen a number of easy free balls having to be sent over the net. And with a team like Trinity Western, you can't be giving them easy balls. The offense is just too strong.
And so what will this serve receive for UBC do now? You've got Greywall out there, Jost in the middle, and Jost spreading them out in the serve receive. Good communication on the UBC side, so let's see how they respond out of this 2nd timeout for the Thunderbirds. Savannah Purdy going to Pettit, who handles it cleanly. In system, that's going to be sent over on a quick side out. Just like that, Lucy Borowski. One of the substitutions Reimer had to make as they were falling behind, and she converts out of the middle.
Oh, and they mix things up there, bringing Borowski, who was in the right side position. She came in front to hit the high ball. Does a good job of being able to see her angles and pushes it into the open corner.
Kira Kovacs. So that means Joe stepping off with 6 white shirts out there for UBC, and this is going to drop down on the Spartan side, so let's see if UBC can build off of this momentum. Back-to-back points out of that Doug Reimer timeout just moments ago. Kovacs. Purdy, a good job to shrug that one off. It goes out of play. Again, usportschampionship@gmail.com. Mike sending us a note saying, hey, I'm watching from Brazil, a T-Birds player, an alum from 1965 to 71, going back saying
oh yeah, hi Mike. Mike is a referee too, well known here at War Memorial Gym.
Excellent. So Mike, great to have you with us on the broadcast. Kamlodi with a difficult set, getting it over to her left side. So despite Kamlodi's effort, Mealy was shut down by UBC.
Mealy is a player that's been a little bit quieter this game, up on the board with just 1 kill. She's a solid outside attacker for Trinity Western, but she meets the UBC block on that attempt.
On top of that was Clay, and she scores out of the middle. So we really haven't seen Clay being used from that right side to make the difference, but out of the middle, picking up the points.
Well, she had some great pop on that swing. Took a real rip on it. Borowski was there, but not able to get control of it. Will give the ball back to Trinity Western.
As Anso Doom rotates to the back to serve, that means Dora Kamlodi is now in the front row. So setters both in the front row on the Spartans and Thunderbird side. Greywall, who subbed in earlier this set, and there's the take by Oxland, and she's going to go out though. I'm impressed though with that aggressive take by Oxland. She recognized there was space, but couldn't convert, too much power.
Well, she's got that advantage in the setting position with the left-hand attack where she can go up and take the rip. That's not quite as easy when you're a right-handed setter.
O'Doom, her team up by 9. Coming through is Greywall.
Akash Greywall gets the faster set to the outside. Kayla Oxland really pushing it out there to her quick. And that meant the Trinity block wasn't closed and fully set up, so there was some room to go down the middle.
Now Greywall stepping back to serve. She was brought in as part of that serve-receive when Purdy was serving tough earlier on this set. Again, both timeouts have been used by the Thunderbirds. Here's Mealy going off the block, left side, converting up against Robertson, part of that middle blocker, well, that block rather, for UBC.
Trinity Western playing solid side-out volleyball right now. They've got this comfortable lead, and they're not letting UBC go on a long run.
Oxland with a big push over to Pettit. Mealy gets underneath it. Purdy. Now Kamlodi. Oxland stepping around is Robertson and scores from the right side.
Jade Robertson with a step around attack. She loves that cross-court angle.
So Robertson will rotate to the back. That means Kovacs moving up to the front. The middle will switch front to back on the UBC side. Jost will step off. Get some rest as the libero for UBC. Stepping around is Clay. We saw it successful moments ago for Robertson, but not successful for Clay.
Kara Kovacs tracking that ball so well. Seeing it going back to Clay. She closes on the outside to Pettit. Right back down on Trinity's side.
Robertson to McBain. Purdy gets through. 2 blockers there, Oxland and Kovacs. Purdy converts from the left side.
Tremendous swing by Savannah Purdy. It was a tight ball. The blockers were trying to get there. She gets there first and just slices it past Kayla Oxland.
Kayla Clay going to Jost. Kovacs, quick side out for UBC. Trying to build some momentum here, but again, not many options to actually slow down the momentum. With both timeouts gone, only substitutions remaining for Coach Doug Reimer.
Well, that angle is working right now for UBC. We saw Jade Robertson have some success. This time it's Kara Kovacs going back and cutting it sharp cross court.
Here's Oxlin. Dug up by Mealy. One contact for the Spartans. Here's Oxlin. In system. Going over to Borowski.
Lucy Borowski getting rolling. Comes off the bench, replacing Erica Vermette. And bringing some power on back-to-back big swings.
Oxlin again. Her team behind by 6. Their left hand will send this over to Gamache. Plouffe drops it in to score. Haley Plouffe, one of the 2 middles for Trinity Western, picking up the kill. And we have a substitution on the Spartan side. And so Doom returning to the floor as Michaela McBain was rotating to the front, the defensive specialist. So now O'Doom out there. The Spartans front row with O'Doom, Purdy, and Plouffe in the middle. Kamlodi back to serve. But Kamlodi's only going to get 1 serve. It's a middle attack for UBC. Thunderbirds trail by 6.
And it's Lucy Borowski again with the hot hand. She's gotten 2 kills now out of the middle when they run her with a higher ball, 53, bring her inside.
Pettit with the standing serve goes to Purdy. Kamlodi. Plouffe running that quick middle. Here's O'Doom, has it high up and goes into the block. Kovacs and Borowski putting up the block for UBC. Thunderbirds behind by 5.
You know what, nothing gives your team more energy than a big block, because not only are you doing something positive for your side, you're kind of taking a little piece away from the other side, because it doesn't feel good to get blocked. So I always feel like it's worth even more than 1 point, a big block like that.
And Purdy is going to go off the mark on the right side. And Purdy went on that serving run earlier on, giving Trinity Western a big lead. Now momentum starting to shift, and the UBC fans can feel this as well.
Well, it was 11-2 there for Trinity Western, up by 9, and it looked like UBC was maybe going to kiss the second set goodbye and start to focus on the third. But they've proven me wrong here, answering back. They are clawing back point by point. There is still a 4-point gap, but they are in this set and taking back some momentum.
We have a message here from Alexa saying, hey, I'm watching the finals this Monday morning in Sydney, Australia. So hello down under. She's cheering on her sister, Michaela McBain, saying go Spartans. So Alexa, thank you for joining us. Again, you can watch and send us a message, we should say, at usportschampionship@gmail.com. And Carson sending us a note. Again, this is Monday morning. He says he's watching right now in Northern Ireland. He says there's no way I'm going to sleep early with these 2 teams. The crosstown rivalry. Loves watching the bench strength of the Spartans as well. So Carson, hello to you from Northern Ireland and happy Monday morning. Wherever you are watching from, it is now 5:39 Pacific time here on the West Coast. The final day of Vancouver hosting the 2023 U Sports Women's Volleyball National Championship. This is the gold medal game. UBC leading 1-0, but trailing in this second set. After the Spartans timeout, Plouffe going to work out of the middle and picking up another kill. Plouffe is now at 3 tonight. Here's Savannah Purdy, who has been dangerous from behind the service line with 3 aces so far. Leading the match in that category, but goes into the net.
Well, you know, if you're UBC, you're breathing a sigh of relief, because she went on a non-stop service run to propel Trinity Western into the lead early in this set.
And Trinity Selecki will step onto the floor. This is a service substitution for UBC. Selecki in, Kovacs out. So no libero out there for UBC. On the Spartan side, you have Gamache in the serve receive. Here's Selecki, who is out of Alberta and sends this one long. So stepping back up is Jost, who will take the place of Selecki. Now the middles rotate front to back on the Trinity Western side. Haley Plouffe, who in this starting lineup will be the only returning player next season, almost gets an ace. Now Purdy, Kamlodi, and so Doom. We've seen the power before. This time she goes with the tip. Kamloti taken out, so second ball coming from Plouffe. In the middle, pick up an assist here. O'Doom heading out to the right, seeing some volume on this rally. Second ball again coming from Plouffe, going over to O'Doom. The crowd not liking that set from Plouffe. And Grewal able to convert from the left side.
A lot of scramble plays there. They weren't setting up great sets, a lot of low sets, and we saw tips being had to be made. Akash Grewal doing a fabulous job of just getting her feet there just in time so she could get some kind of swing on it. Catches a lucky bounce off the tape.
Off the Borowski serve, it's going to be Mealy side out for Trinity Western. Spartans ahead by 5 points. Dora Kamloti in the front row. We'll take another look here at the kill from Mealy, some separation from the middle blocker, Robertson. Oxland going over to Grewal, goes to Gamache, Mealy. And having to navigate that stanchion, what referee's standing on, couldn't get to it.
It's tough. You got the referee stand there. She's focused on the ball, but also trying not to crash into the stands. Gamache doing a great job of getting behind what was a big swing by Grewal on the outside.
Mealy almost making contact with referee 1, Andrew Robb, in this match. Referee 2 is Steve Hewitson, down low. Kamloti over to Mealy with 2 blockers there. Jost picks this up at the back. There's a nice dig. Here goes Pettit, and she scores on the left side.
Well, UBC is not going away. They're fighting back here. They have trailed by as many as 9 points at one point early on in this set, and they are fighting back, still have some ground to make up for a chance to win the second set. They're down by 3.
Absolutely. Did we predict this? It was 11-2 at one point for Trinity Western with Purdy serving. Mealy able to use the block to score. And that was when Savannah Purdy was serving. So again, Purdy this last go around had a service error, so we haven't seen that, and she's still got a few rotations to get back. It's now Megan Mealy to put this ball in play for Trinity Western. Mealy, one of 6 graduating players for the Spartans, is going to score an ace.
Akash Grewal just deciding at the last second to let that one go. She hesitated, but it drops in, and she's going to come to the bench. We're going to see Bryn Payson come back in. Great job by Akash Grewal, though, coming in and lighting some fire in that front row attack.
Grewal stepping off with 3 kills in limited action this match tonight. Jost stepping around is Robertson. His block, good reaction though, and coverage in tight for UBC. Kamloti going over to Savannah Purdy. Jost gets underneath it. Play trying to follow up. She is blocked. Kamloti. And now Gamache will send this over softly. So off the free ball, UBC able to run the offense. It's going to be Pettit. Gamache realized she couldn't even get over there. Pettit is going to pick kill number 6 on this play.
Going hard and high, off hands. I really love Elise Pettit's story. She's from Washington State. She went and played volleyball at Dartmouth, did 3 years there, came to UBC to do a master's. She came here to do a master's and then joined the team and has played. This is her second, and this will be her last year of eligibility. She's a graduating senior, but has just loved her time with the Thunderbirds.
Purdy going hard down the line, taking that off of Borowski. A point for the Spartans, getting closer and closer to that magical number 25 points that would end this second set, but we'll see what happens. UBC, again, no more timeouts after taking 2 early on. They do have substitutions, and let's see what will happen with Michaela Clay. Serving near this student hype section here at War Memorial. The banging drums, she's not phased. Get this ball across. Going off the block is Kovacs to score from the right side. UBC within 4.
Kovacs loves it when she gets the chance to spread things out, take that swing from the right side.
Setter to the back row for UBC. This is Oxland, who has shared some of the time with Izzy Robertshaw, the other setter for UBC. Second ball coming from Kovacs. She was right next to Oxland. And on second contact, this time Kovacs is going to send it over, throw her hands up in the air, saying, all right, there we go.
Some crazy plays back and forth. UBC comes out ahead on that one. Not always the prettiest play that gets it done, and that time it's just a set over into some open space.
Oxland going to Gamache. Kamlodi will have to pedal over to make that set from the back court. Passed up by Oxland, outside of the court, Pettit sending it. Here's Plouffe trying to poke that one over and pick the spot, and Jost able to make contact initially, but Plouffe picking a good spot, moving the Spartans to set point here. And a substitution coming up as well. We saw her in limited action in the opening set. This time, different scenario, so it's Erin Bolden coming in. Let's see what she can do in place of Savannah Purdy in the front row. Dora Kamlodi. Keeping it off the net is Oxland. Here's Bolden taking out the setter. Jost will go over to the right side. Kovacs in the middle, hitting from the right side, scores.
Well, UBC staying alive here, but there's a number of set points that Trinity Western has that UBC is going to fight for. There's no room for error at the service line, and it'll be Elise Pettit who will have to go back to serve.
So meantime, here's Purdy and Bolden switching places once again. Purdy now set up in the serve receive. UBC with no points to give. Pettit with a standing serve sends this across to Mealy. Kamlodi with the back set, a difficult one over to O'Doom, and she is blocked. Payson and Kovacs putting up the rejection. UBC still alive in the second.
A big block there by Bryn Payson on the outside to shut down O'Doom. And Trinity Western will call a timeout. They're going to try and freeze UBC's server. They know that there's no room for error for Elise Pettit back at the service line when they've got a couple of set points to work with.
Now both teams have used both of their timeouts. I don't know if you expected this at all, Emily. When it was 11-2 at one point for Trinity Western, Savannah Purdy serving. We saw some substitutions. Coach Doug Reimer clearly has said something to fire up his team, and we have seen some of the result, but the Spartans again still at set point. We do want to say good evening here from Vancouver, and also good morning to some spots in the world as we are live around the world online. And Izzy sends us a note, studying abroad right now in London, England, watching the U Sports National Championship and cheering on the Thunderbirds early morning in London, saying go T-Birds. So Izzy, thank you so much for joining us. One of the many messages we've got. And hey, by the way, the Spartans on the men's side, as we've mentioned before, winning the national championship.
Well, that's a note from Carol Hofer, former coach of the Trinity Western women's team. Now it's her husband, Ryan Hofer, and she, of course, was out there cheering on her sons who were playing and would have just won gold for Trinity Western, including all-star Brody Hofer.
Yeah, Brody Hofer and the boys winning in straight sets in Hamilton. So congratulations going to the Spartans on the men's side. On the women's side, let's see what happens here. Here's Purdy going to the attack. Sharp angle shot, and it was picked up by Jost. Kamlodi. Plouffe for the finish in the middle. Will pick up the kill. It is the Spartans taking this set by 3. But my goodness, the Spartans jumping out to that early lead, and UBC did not give up. What will happen in the third? Because this match is tied at 1 set apiece. You are watching the U Sports Women's Volleyball National Championship on CBC, presented by Mikasa.
Behind the glory. Watch, listen, stream, read CBC Sports.
Hey U Sports fans, check out shop.usports.ca for this week's promotional item from the Nike Team Collection. Visitez le shop.usport.ca pour en profiter de la promotion de la semaine de la collection Nike Team.
It is an exciting one here. The championship match of this 2023 U Sports Women's Volleyball National Championship. We are getting messages from around the world, so it is so great to have you with us here. It is the UBC Thunderbirds hosting the Trinity Western Spartans, the defending national champions. My name is Tim James, and Emily Cordonier with the colored commentary on this evening. So Emily, was the Spartans jumping out to that early lead, UBC eventually fighting back here, and I'm not sure what to expect here in the third set, because we've talked about it before, like when it comes to the Spartans offense in particular. We talked a bit about Savannah Purdy from behind the service line, for example, but they really have such a varied attack that I'm not sure which way the Spartans are going to go here in the third.
I've been impressed by both sides, and that there really hasn't just been one player doing it for either team. They're getting production from all different positions, and they're keeping it interesting. What I like is no team here has come, you know, to lose. Both teams are coming, playing some of their best volleyball. In the second set, we thought UBC was going to fold, and they showed us they were in it, battling right till the end. This is such a momentous occasion, having nationals here. It has been 40 years since Women's Volleyball Nationals, or Volleyball Nationals, has been held not just at UBC, but in BC. It was 40 years ago when Doug Reimer, the coach of UBC, was playing here. He was playing for the UVic Vikes, and he was playing in nationals. So sorry if I'm aging you, Doug, but that's the last time. So to be able to host this tournament here and have the home crowds of both UBC here as hosts, and then the home crowd from Langley being able to take up space, I just think it's so major for Volleyball BC, really.
Kamlodi's serve getting us underway, and it's going to be a left side approach, and there you go. It's going to be Lucy Borowski, who did not start this match, but here's starting in the third set, coming with the kill on the left side.
Borowski did a fabulous job coming in the second set, replacing Erica Vermette, getting some swings out of the right side, and also coming into the middle, getting some higher balls out of the middle. She gets the first kill of the game, but followed up by a service error there by Pettit. We'll give the ball back to Trinity Western.
That is 7 service errors now for UBC. 2 aces, 7 errors. The Spartans at 4-4 when it comes to aces and service errors. And here's Savannah Purdy. She has 3 of the aces. Not going to get one here. Here's Oxley. The set going to Borowski once again, this time from the right side. Here's O'Doom. Roll shot picked up by Oxley. Jost. Borowski, who is seeing the volume, but the antenna was moving, and it's going to be a point awarded to the Spartans.
Just tagging the antenna and knocking it off a little bit. They've got to adjust it, make sure it's in the right spot.
So Savannah Purdy, who went on that serving run in the second set, yeah, was 11-2 at one point, but UBC making it close, finishing that set by just 3 points behind. Here's Payson. Good aggressive swing off the left side. Last touch off of the Spartans to score.
It was out of system. Wasn't a great pass from Payson to start it off, but it's a give and go back out to her on the outside, and she makes up for it with that high and hard swing.
Message here from Rachel saying, hey, I'm watching my little sister Trinity Selecki from Hamilton right now. So Rachel, thank you for joining us. More messages coming in.
Well, Trinity's father, and I guess Rachel's father, he is a UBC alumni. He's here in the stands tonight. He's been here all weekend supporting his daughter.
This brings up Kaylee Plouffe to serve as the Spartans middles rotate front to back. So the Trinity Western front row with Clay in the middle, Mealy on the left side, and O'Doom on the right. Borowski, and we have seen some volume from her. You know, she's not a player who started this one, but whatever Doug Reimer said, look at the Thunderbirds going with her on the offense early on. We're only 6 points into this third set.
Lucy Borowski coming out of the Next Gen program with the Canadian women's national team. She's in her second year.
Going hard to Mealy on the serve, Kamlodi on the move, using that momentum to set up the left side, and this will go off the roof here at War Memorial Gym.
Well, War Memorial Gym is a fantastic gymnasium, but what it does have is a slightly lower roof than a lot of the newer gyms being built today, and that does come into play from time to time when you get a big swing like that ricocheting off of, this time it was Lucy Borowski's arms.
Certainly is different than the Langley Event Center where the Trinity Westerns play their home matches. Stepping around is Robertson, stepping around and scoring, hitting that hard to the one position.
Great swing there by Jade Robertson. She loves coming around and then cutting it back in the cross-court angle.
Anna sends us a message saying, hey, I'm watching from Sweden. All right, we can add the map there, or add that to the map, and saying go Birds. So Anna, great to have you with us. Megan Mealy dug up though. Oxland. There's Pettit sending it over deep down the line. That might have been going out, but picked up by Purdy. Here's Mealy going down the line to Borowski. Oxland back over to Pettit. She scores to position 6 with Gamache diving over to her right. It's a kill for Pettit and the Thunderbirds.
Nice out-of-system swing by Elise Pettit, coming back over her shoulder. She takes a real rip on that one and gives UBC the edge. They're up 5-4.
No timeouts used so far. Here's Payson. Going to Gamache. Mealy up against 2 blockers. Borowski sending that back over, and then Clay's going to track this one, but send it out.
A lucky break there for UBC as they put it over and right into the hands of Clay. But Clay going wide with that attempt. UBC up by 2.
3 players. Go middle back in the serve receive. Here's Clay going off the hands. The wipe will score.
Great answering play there by Clay after an error. She gets right back in it, goes to that step around attack, cranking it off the hands of the blocker.
Now Megan Mealy to serve. From Calgary, graduate of William Aberhart, if you know the area. Pettit again from the left side and raising her hands as well, trying to get her team and the crowd fired up. And hey, it's a 2-point lead for the home side.
Fabulous extension on her hit, going so high, reaching up that elbow and going over top of the block, right into the middle of the court.
Here's Robertson, who had some success from behind the service line with 4 aces last night. Roll shot by Purdy. Oxland. And then Pettit, who has had some success from the front row on the left side in this set, will go out this time around. So Michaela Clay going back to serve for Trinity Western. Clay from just outside of Edmonton, Sherwood Park, graduate of Strathcona Christian. Drops it in for the ace.
Top serve there by Clay. It just dropped, scraping the tape and landing right in between Payson and Pettit. Ties things up at 7.
So Brianna sending us a note saying, hey, I'm watching from Columbia. I'm a UBC volleyball alumni. Great to have you with us. We have some Thunderbirds fans watching online, of course, Spartans fans as well.
Brianna's one of those players that's got a couple of national championships under her belt. A former libero for UBC.
Here's Oxland, the setter in the back row for UBC. Kamlodi going to Plouffe. It turned into a one-on-one. Goes off of Pettit. Now Pettit going to work, and Plouffe going up to block, and this will go off the Spartans and out. So Pettit winning the battle at the net.
I love Pettit's aggression out there right now. I could hear her yell, set me. She wanted that ball on that one. She's ready for it. Goes off the hands of the blockers and puts UBC up by 2.
There was a national championship on the line. It is electric here at War Memorial Gym on the UBC campus. Plouffe going to work. Jost able to get that ball up on the first contact. Borowski taking out the setter. Second ball will come from Gamache. Purdy is going to tip this one up, and now Plouffe's going to track this at the net. Turns into a one-on-one, and Plouffe makes UBC pay.
Great job by Kaylee Plouffe to not just put that down on UBC side, but to be aware of Kara Kovacs' arms and cut it past the block.
Dora Kamlodi rotating to the back. Kamlodi is going to get an ace.
Not too much you can do on one like that. Just dropping over the net. Lucy Borowski trying to get the pancake up, but can't get there in time. Ties the game up at 9.
I was going to mention Kamlodi yet to get an ace, so she gets one here, although this is going to be a dribbler off the tape. Savannah Purdy still leading the way in aces with 3 for Trinity Western. Oxland, the block going up. Pettit able to recycle this. And then Jost. Here's Kamloti, middle attack by Blue. Good one-on-one, Jost somehow keeping this alive. Over to Pettit, tipping this one into the net though. A great defensive play, but Pettit goes into the net.
What a dig by Casey Jost. That was one of the hardest hits we've seen out of the middle there by Kaylee Plouffe. It's now Trinity Western who will take the lead up by 1.
No timeouts, great pace to this third set as we are tied 1 set apiece. Pettit goes off the block. Gamache second ball. Savannah Purdy able to wind up, and she puts some energy into that, going off of Kovacs and out.
We're going to see Izzy Roberts-Shaw coming into the game, replacing Kayla Oxland.
So a change-up at the center position for UBC. With Kamloti serving, her team up by 2. Roberts-Shaw keeping it off the net, and it's a nice job by the setter, who just subbed in, sets up her middle. Kovacs for the kill. UBC within 1.
Well, Roberts-Shaw was named to the Canada West All-Rookie team. Starting setter Kayla Oxland got injured for a point through the middle of the season, and Roberts-Shaw saw a lot of time, which really allowed her to kind of step into that role.
And this drops in for an untouched ace, so UBC tying things up at 11.
Close one there, just right on the line.
Here's Pettit, standing serve. Purdy, Kamloti, fake in the middle, but 2 blockers still coming over. Roberts-Shaw on the move and is going to be off on this one. It's going to be sent at a sharp angle, it hits the antenna. So Roberts-Shaw off there on the second contact. The Spartans will score and take the lead, 12-11.
Difficult ball to get through as Roberts-Shaw was running forward. And just momentum carrying that ball a little bit too far, and too far for Bryn Payson to get to.
Purdy going to Pettit. Will Purdy go back to serve again? The answer is no. A right side attack, and Borowski has been impressive since being subbed in. Again, not one of the starters, but UBC making a good change, and she has been effective so far tonight.
She's up there with 6 kills now, despite not seeing nearly as much time as some of our starters.
Borowski with 6 kills, Kovacs with 8, Pettit leading the way for the Thunderbirds with 9. Back set, there's Plouffe out of the right side, and she scores. Plouffe leading the way for Trinity Western, now with 9 kills. Purdy has 8.
Well, we've seen her get it done in the middle, and that time she's showing she can get it done on the right side too.
Middles rotate front to back for Trinity Western. Setter in the back row for the Spartans. Here's Roberts-Shaw for the Thunderbirds. Kamloti. Down the line goes Mealy and scores.
Great swing by Megan Mealy. She's got such a fast arm swing. She cranks it down the line, and Roberts-Shaw can't dig it up, and we will see Kayla Oxland coming back into the game to set, and Roberts-Shaw taking a seat.
Got a message here from Joanna and Lance, as well as Hannah and Gracie, who are apparently watching at War Memorial, cheering on Victoria's Savannah Purdy. So thank you for joining us, the May family. Right side swing, 2 blockers up, picked up in the back by Purdy. Kamloti, middle attack by Clay, but goes into the net.
A rare error, really. We don't see that too much. We haven't seen that very much from Trinity's offense, where they bury one into the net, because they have been so efficient.
Here's Borowski. Going to Gamache. Kamloti with a tough back set. It turns into a one-on-one. Anso Doom able to win that one, and another amazing set by Kamloti.
So athletic, running forward. It doesn't look like she can make that one, and then she just makes it look easy.
Dora Kamloti, a second-team All-Star in the Canada West. O'Doom is going to be charged with a service error. Good pace to this third set. Substitution coming up on the Spartan side. Michaela McBain will step back out there on the floor. This is a defensive substitution. So it's McBain now in the serve receive next to Emma Gamache as well as Savannah Purdy. Here's the captain, Payson. Kamloti able to make a few quick steps going over to Mealy. Payson. This will be too tight to the net to make an attack on it. So Kamloti in system over to Mealy. Redirects off the block going down the line. That will redirect off the block. Pettit picking up the point. We are tied 15-all.
Tremendous volleyball being played by both of these teams. Great rallies back and forth. Defense keeping it alive. Elise Pettit there going up with another kill. She's got 10 so far.
Payson to McBain, a nice pass, and there's the dump by Dora Kamloti, the setter, picking up the kill. That is her second kill tonight.
Casey Jost had the right idea, but couldn't get all the way over there in time.
Kamloti with a big smile on her face. She's in the front row there after picking up her second kill. Mealy in the back gets the serve across, and it's going to be a tough one. Oxlade able to take it off the net. McBain. Kamloti, the back set, another tough set, goes over to Clay, and Jost, another defensive play. Marvelous effort by this libero on this Sunday night. And it's going to be a left side touch over for the Spartans to score. Trinity Western up by 2.
Great defense to keep it alive, but UBC needs to put some kind of tougher attack over, because the easy balls, Trinity Western's going to do something with them every time.
Mealy sending that to Payson. Stepping around is Robertson, who again converts, this time going off of the block, unable to go cleanly cross court. Didn't need to, though. Point for UBC. The Thunderbirds behind by 1.
Jade Robertson with tremendous efficiency on that step around attack.
Robertson to Gamache. Here's Clay. The block got up there, and then on third contact, it's Purdy. UBC, can they convert? Kovacs able to tip this one, though. Here's Purdy, wiping it off the block, but somehow a defensive play by Morowski, although on third contact they couldn't get it over. Still a good reaction, but it's the Spartans with the last laugh on that rally. We have some tweets as well. We were talking about all the emails, so Claire Hanna sending us a note saying, you guys are crushing it, love hearing your voice. So there we go. Claire, thank you for the note. Tom sends us a note saying that Trinity Western has done an amazing job building its sports programs, from hiring top caliber coaches to recruiting athletes. Great to have you with us, Tom. The dig there, no. That will go all the way into the stands here at War Memorial Gym, off of play. UBC scoring. The Thunderbirds behind by 1.
A lot of power there from Elise Pettit, who is rising to the occasion, leading all players so far in this match. She's up there with 11 kills and 1 ace.
Oxlade with 33 assists. Kamloti, now Gamache. Jost going down, and this will not stay onside. So it will be a point for Trinity Western. So by the way, it was 33 assists for Oxlade. On the Spartan side, it's Kamloti just behind at 31. Kamloti to serve. Oxlade. Tipped over by Borowski. The defense collapsing for the Spartans. So can they convert here, the Thunderbirds? Pettit winds up Jost. Good coverage once again. This time from the right side, Borowski taking down the libero, Gamache. This is tipped over by Purdy. An extended rally here. Jost over to Borowski to try to finish things off. It's going to go off of hands, but popped up somehow by Mealy. Keeping it alive. Purdy for the finish, no. Here's Oxlade. Tough back set over to Borowski, and she will score. Amazing defense on both sides. My goodness.
What a rally. The fans are getting a show no matter what. Tremendous volleyball by the Thunderbirds and the Spartans. Everybody leaving it all on the court. This is what you want in a national final. A substitution coming in for UBC. It's Claire Cosarini. The first time we've seen her this match. She's going to give Kara Kovacs a little break in the front row. I've seen some signs all weekend long. Claire Blockarini. She can put up a big block up there. She's going to try and do it here.
So she's in the front row, and it's going to be a set to the middle. No block this time, though. It's Kaylee Plouffe picking up the kill. Plouffe now up to 10 kills. Yes, she's in the double digits for kills. Savannah Purdy, though, leading the way for the Spartans with 11.
Kaylee Plouffe only in her second year. She is a player. We're going to hear her name a lot over the next couple years. doing a tremendous job for the Spartans.
A second-team All-Star in the Canada West, Kaylee Plouffe. Now Plouffe, part of the block going up, but Payson not going to be able to get that over the net. So it's a 3-point lead for Trinity Western. Again, no timeouts called. Okay, there we go.
Doug Reimer going to call a timeout on that one. Things so tight here. But in the second set, this was the kind of difference we saw. UBC trailing by 2 and 3 down the stretch, and just hard to catch up at that point.
We have a message here from Dave, Emma, Liam, and Jacob, the Mischuk's, cheering on the Spartans to a double goal day from Poipu Beach. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. From Kauai. There we go. So thank you for joining us. Live around the world, we are getting these messages. And yes, just to expand on that, it was the Spartans winning in straight sets in the national championship on the men's side earlier on. That one was hosted in at McMaster. So already the Spartan faithful have something to cheer about. Now, many Spartans fans are here at War Memorial, but it is the UBC fans trying to bring the energy here, trying to get their team back in it with his first timeout called in the set. Emily, usually this has been the most fun set that we've seen so far here tonight. The team's going back and forth.
Great rallies, and there's going to be a tremendous story no matter what the outcome of this game is. It's Trinity Western taking the title in both men's and women's volleyball this year. Is it UBC coming in as the host and that number 7 seed comes in to win? I was trying to reflect, when was the last time a team that hadn't qualified, the host team, had won nationals? And actually it was my husband, who's a former Golden Bear. And he said, well, I don't know if this is the last time, but he said his rookie year in 2002, they did it. They didn't qualify, they hosted, and they ended up winning. So I was like, okay, it's happened before.
The block going up. Kovacs couldn't get through, so Oxland's going to try the left side here, and Payson able to, nope. There's some debate here. This one going to the Spartans, and the Boo-Birds really coming out here at UBC. Let's see if we can get a replay. Substitution meantime as Graywall will step onto the floor in place of Payson.
The crowd not liking that call, as that puts Trinity up by 4. And it's Savannah Purdy, their top server, back at the line.
Absolutely. 3 aces so far. She's not going to get number 4, though. Is UBC able to handle that? It was Joe's. Diving forward was Oxland, and there you go. The Spartans will score the points. Going up by 5 points. The defending national champions, and just got a message here from Annie. It's some poetry, and you know what, Annie? I'll try to get to this message in a little bit here. I don't know if right now is the perfect time for poetry, but I do see that. Thank you for the message. We've got Savannah Purdy here. 3 players deep in the serve receive. Purdy sending this to Pettit. It's a good pass and a middle attack by Kovacs. It goes hard off of the center. Kamloti. Point for UBC.
Kovacs answering back with a great cut back to position 1. Too much heat for Kamloti to handle. It'll be Kovacs. We'll have to go back to serve now for UBC.
Kovacs, one of the 6 graduating players, is going to drop this in for an ace. Just what UBC needs now. With 1 timeout remaining for the Thunderbirds, trying to make this comeback. They are behind by 3 points and picking up an ace from Kovacs.
I saw Coach Ryan Hofer initially calling that one out, and then he kind of shrugged like, yeah, actually, just tagged it, just tagged the line.
Purdy, too much power on that, sent back in the court by Graywall. Gamache with a free ball. Thunderbirds going to run their right side for Met. Now Kamloti, the back set over to Ansa O'Doom. Another tough set by Kamloti. And then diving forward, the pancake, Gamache keeping this ball alive. O'Doom sending it over and scores. Great defensive play by the libero for the Spartans. O'Doom with the finish, and my goodness, even on that rally, the set from Kamloti.
Tremendous pickup by Gamache, the libero, to keep that one going and translate that into a point for Trinity Western, and it is set point for Trinity Western. They're up 24-20, and we're going to see Captain Bryn Payson come back into the game for UBC.
Here is Kaylee Plouffe. The drums are banging, the noisemakers are sounding here at War Memorial Gym. Plouffe in the zone. She's dominating in kills so far tonight. Sends this ball out, however. It's a service error, her first one for Plouffe.
too much power behind that one. It goes sailing quite long out of bounds. Now the pressure on Erica Vermette, who just came off the bench. She's been sitting for all of this set.
Vermette with one ace and one service error, gets the ball across. Mealy looking to finish things off, and she does.
That'll be Trinity Western taking the third set, 25-21, and they go up 2-1.
The national champions, one set away from retaining their title. Can they do it? You are watching the U Sports Women's Volleyball National Championship at War Memorial Gym on CBC, presented by Mikasa.
Get the stories behind the glory. Watch, listen, stream, read CBC Sports.
Hey U Sports fans, check out shop.usports.ca for this week's promotional item from the Nike Team collection. Visitez le shop.usport.ca pour en profiter de la promotion de la semaine de la collection Nike Team.
Here on this final weekend of winter, we have an exciting matchup for the national championship in women's volleyball here in U Sports. It is now the Trinity Western Spartans, the defending champions, up 2-1 over UBC. Will it end here in this fourth set? Stand by. You were with Tim James and Emily Cordonier. Thank you so much for joining us. This is the U Sports Women's Volleyball National Championship presented by Mikasa. And looking at this when it comes to the attack efficiency, the Spartans hitting 22% at this point. UBC hitting at 21%, so we're fairly even there. Going into the fourth set, what do you think's going on in that UBC huddle when it comes to that, Emily, with Doug Reimer, as he needs his team to win this set to force that fifth and deciding set?
Well, UBC the last couple sets, they've let Trinity Western take a lead, and it's so hard to play that catch-up game all set long. So they need to come out and have a better start to the set. And starting with their serve receive, they've struggled at times. Some very difficult serves coming in from Trinity Western have made it challenging for UBC to run all of their offensive options. And UBC certainly at their best when they can start incorporating their middle and get their right side going a bit. The right side position's been fairly quiet.
When it comes to the UBC middle attack, Jade Robertson with 5 kills, hitting at 36%, so not quite as effective as what we saw in last night's victory. Kara Kovacs has 9 kills so far and hitting 40%. So we'll see what the UBC middle attack can do, but all eyes inside of War Memorial now on Kayla Oxland, the setter, who has 35 assists so far through 3 sets. Dora Kamlodi right behind at 34. Kamlodi looking for 35 as she goes to Kaylee Plouffe, and yeah, there we go. The Spartans score first in this fourth set. Again, 1 set away from retaining their title as the national champions. Dora Kamlodi with 1 ace. That was the dribbler, though, that went over. So let's see what she can earn here. Not going to be an ace. It is a tough one, though, as Oxland forced to make the bump set, and then Kovacs going into the net. So far, so good for the visiting Spartans.
That's a challenging set to hit. It was coming off of a bump set, coming back over Kara Kovacs' shoulder. On those ones, you don't always have the best vision of where the blockers are, but you need to think high and off hands.
Oxland over to Borowski, gets it over top of the block, takes out the center, so Gamache We'll pass this one over to the left side, and then Savannah Purdy has some clear sailing to send that at a sharp angle cross court. Couldn't finish though, but Purdy, part of the block that gets up there for the Spartans. Purdy, Plouffe, the block, putting Trinity Western up by 3.
The Trinity Western bench with some big airplane celebrations as their team is rolling here in the 4th set. UBC struggling on the serve receive, not giving setter Kayla Oxland all of her options. She's been pulled off the net time and time again. A better pass there.
Here's Oxland. But this time it's Plouffe and O'Doom putting up the block, so the left side not working either for UBC. Coach Doug Reimer just saying, all right, calm down. A little bit of discussion with Borowski, pats her on the back. Let's see what the serve receive can do. Again with Dora Kamloti in the back. That's the setter in the back row. So 3 attackers up for Trinity Western. This will trickle off the tape, but kept alive. And Kamloti's going to pop this one up dangerously close to the roof here at War Memorial. Not going to make contact though. Oxlade back set the block. A little late getting over, and Plouffe has that go off for her, and she taps herself on the chest saying, all right, my bad. There was the first point for UBC.
Well, UBC's on the board. And now once again they find themselves having to play catch up, down by 3 points. It'll be Elise Pettit, who has been their top producer offensively so far tonight. She'll go back to serve.
Pettit, the only player for UBC in double digits in kills. The back set there by Dora Kamloti. She has made some impressive sets tonight. This time going to the right side, O'Doom with the finish.
She's so good with whipping those back sets, even when the ball's she's being pulled forward. Tees it up so perfectly for O'Doom and gets her the one-on-one.
Savannah Purdy trying to bring some trouble to the serve receive for the Thunderbirds. Kovacs is going to tip this over. Mealy able to make contact, and Plouffe sends this, taking out Oxland. Here's Borowski hitting that in between Purdy and Kamloti to score from the right side. The second point for UBC.
Lucy Borowski on the right side. We've seen her trade time with Erica Vermette in that right side position. But she starts off this set and gets a big kill there.
Kovacs with 2 service errors so far tonight. She's going to get this one in. 1 ace as well for Kovacs. And Mealy going hard off the block. With the free ball for the Spartans, Kamloti's going to set a quick one to Plouffe, but she's dug up though in the back. Initially, it was Kovacs who made contact, but a nice swing by Plouffe, and so the Spartans ahead by 4 points.
Plouffe having another big night, leading her team. She's up on the board with 9 kills.
This looking somewhat similar to the second set, in which the Spartans jumped out to that 7-2 lead, and that's where Doug Reimer used his first timeout. Kamloti. Who's going to play that second ball eventually? It was Plouffe. As the 2 middles on the Spartan side were looking at each other. The antenna's going to go moving, but some miscommunication on the Spartans. Who is going to take that second ball?
Well, it ends up being a tough one for Mealy to get a good swing on. She tags the antenna, and UBC takes the point, trailing by 3.
Borowski, who's playing for her hometown school. She's from Vancouver. Borowski gets underneath that one, but not enough. The Spartans back up by 4. And this will move Dora Kamloti to the front row. Doug Reimer is going to stand up. He's got both of his timeouts still. O'Doom. Oxland.
Setting error there by Kayla Oxland. The ball was tight to the net to begin with, and she couldn't pull the set out. It goes too far and too tight for Jade Robertson, and UBC is going to use their first timeout as they trail 8-3.
5-point difference. All right, I think this gives me a chance to read some poetry here. So Annie sends this in, obviously cheering for the Spartans here, saying, we've reached the final, and it's a battle of crosstown rivals. I'm all for the Langley team and thankful for this live stream. And you can add the Netherlands to your map. Wow. Although tomorrow I may need a nap. But wouldn't miss the action for anything. Hope the Spartans get that gold bling. So there you go. Thank you for joining us. Again, usportschampionship@gmail.com. That is the email. And also you can tweet us. We've got a few tweets to Emily or myself. Check us out on Twitter. It is the Thunderbirds' first time out as they're trying to get back into this one. The Spartans one set away from a second straight national championship. And the Spartans have had all kinds of success recently, as just earlier on this month they won their fourth straight Canada West Championship. They have been dominant in the conference. And now, nationally, this is a team that is almost just a perennial contender. This could be their second straight national title.
And as you mentioned earlier in the broadcast, Tim, a lot of seniors on both of these teams. And it just means a little extra more when you're playing in your last U Sports game.
Jost with his second ball. Going over to Payson, but somehow kept alive by Gamache with her right arm, diving over to her right. And there's Mealy going down the line to score. It's Trinity Western that picks up the first point out of that UBC timeout.
Spartans firing on all cylinders right now, and it starts with the defense. That play by Gamache, a diving dig, and she picks it up perfectly, makes it look easy so that Mealy can get that attack on transition. UBC making a change here. Kayla Oxland coming to the bench. Rookie setter Izzy Robert-Shaw coming into the game.
And Robert-Shaw has been a familiar name during the regular season for UBC, and there's a collective call of out for the Thunderbirds. Good decision. So Michaela McBain will step onto the floor, a defensive substitution for the Spartans that we've seen before. And this brings up Bryn Payson to serve. Her team behind by 5. The Thunderbirds also behind 2-1. After taking that opening set, this clipping the tape coming across. Mealy going off of the block and no coverage there. After it was stopped up, it popped and Jost was diving forward. We've seen her get balls like that, similar to that, earlier on in this match, but couldn't get there in time. The Spartans, the first 2 double digits in this 4th set. Robert-Shaw, fake in the middle, so there's an opening because Clay bid on it. Here's Purdy, sharp angle, but dug up. Then Robert-Shaw keeping it off the net. Robertson going to work. UBC, what a point earned.
UBC finding a way. A dig by Pettit to keep it alive, and it's Jade Robertson who will finish it off, going hard off the hands of the block.
Robertson, who had 14 kills last night, hitting 52% against Manitoba. Almost gets what we saw Dora Kamlodi get earlier on in this one, but it won't be an ace that dribbles off of the net. Here's Pettit tipping over and hits the soft spot as Mealy launching forward, couldn't get there. UBC showing some life, behind by 4.
There aren't many spots on the court where you can tip and a Trinity Western defender won't be there. But she manages to just find the little space where Mealy couldn't quite reach.
Clay was running out of real estate. It was number 3 going against number 3, and it was Pettit picking up the victory in that battle.
A very tight set there by Komlodi. Clay didn't have too much room to work with. She was trying to just save it with that tip. Elise Pettit ready and waiting with the block.
Purdy. Komlodi passes this back to Purdy, and off the give and go. She is rejected. This will go and land inside Spartans territory. So now the lead is only down to 2. And the Spartans will call it timeout. Momentum shifting here at War Memorial. Checking some of those messages. We have some Megan Mealy supporters, her family watching from Wisconsin. Gary, Tanis, Tanner, and Emily saying shout out to all the Calgary family watching as well. So Megan Mealy with the supporters, thank you for joining us. And we can add Palm Springs to the map as well down in California. So appreciate that. To the Curry family watching. Number of messages coming in. It is UBC and Trinity Western in this championship match. We also want to give a shout out to the SportsCanada.tv crew that are helping produce this broadcast, and we do hope you're enjoying this one. The camera operators, Mike, Jillian, Jaden, Bobby, and Dylan. The director, Leanne, former Thunderbird, Leanne Evans. So thank you so much for producing this broadcast, again, presented by Mikasa, the whole SportsCanada.tv crew. Number of people part of this broadcast to make it possible, and a number of people inside of War Memorial. I wouldn't say it's quite sold out, but again, capacity 2,100 in this gym. I would say, what are we thinking, Emily?
It's sold out. It's a sold out game.
It's a sold out game.
It's a sold out game. People being turned away at the doors.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Not even selling the rest of those seats, so there you go, 2,100. Here's Purdy. She is blocked. Kamloti. Purdy on the second go is going to tip this one in. The coverage there by Robert Shaw, but taking out the setter. Pettit going up against two blockers. Pettit able to make it work. Again, Pettit getting the last laugh over Michaela Clay.
She finds a way. Pettit is playing her best volleyball here when the team needs it most in the championship final. Chipping that ball off the outside hands of the blockers and getting her 14th kill of the night.
Gamache is off the mark. Here's Robert Shaw, fake in the middle, still two blockers coming over there with some real estate. Pettit able to get it through. At one point in this set, it was 8-3 for Trinity Western. Now we are tied at 10.
I said she had her 14th, she just got her 15th, and she got it in style. Huge swing straight down the middle to tie this set up at 10.
Here's Clay. Oh, rolls that into the net. It is UBC now in front by one.
Well, the momentum, the energy, you can see how it has been building back on UBC's side after a very rough start to this set.
Here's Robertson. For UBC, the setter is in the back row. She's going to get an ace. Dribbles over.
Well, and sometimes when momentum's on your side, you get those lucky breaks. And a lucky break that one was, dribbling over the net and landing for the service ace there. Jade Robertson gets it. Dora Kamloti, she's going to tie her shoe. She's going to take a second here. A little pause in the game.
And, oh, there's a yellow card issued as well with Emma Gamache going over to talk to referee one, Andrew Robb.
They didn't like that time delay there. Kamloti didn't look like she had an untied shoe. She sort of untied it and then tied it up again. So they'll get a yellow card.
Yellow card issued in this one. The body language, I've even noticed, Emily, is different for the Spartans right now. That energy that they had, they don't have it right now. But there you go, all of that time taken, the tying of the shoe, the yellow card issued. Robertson goes into the net.
Oh, Doug Reimer untying his own shoe.
Head coach of UBC having some fun. On the Spartan side, meantime, the middles rotate front to back. So here's Michaela Clay. Let's zoom in on her. Serves this ball across, but 3 feet too far.
Out of bounds, and UBC back up by 2. It's Erica Vermette. UBC sticking with the double substitution. Erica Vermette into the back row. It's Izzy Robert Shaw into the front row.
Robert Shaw with 5 assists in limited action. Bolden, an aggressive swing to the other number 17. That was Jost. Maren Bolden. Off the return, she can swing into this one, back onto the Spartan side. McBain takes this. Here's Plouffe, going off the hands and scores.
Casey Jost in the right spot, but diving forward. She can't reach that deflection. The point will be Trinity Westerns. They pull back within 1.
So Michaela McBain will step off on this substitution. We've got her brother Andrew watching out in Burlington. He sends us a message saying that she's passing like Steve Nash in 05. Kamloti owes her dinner after this. There you go. Thank you, Andrew. Robert Shaw. Right side swing from behind the 3-meter line, taking out the setter, so this will be Gamache. Going over to Maren Bolden, and the rookie is shut down, but somehow the coverage is there for the Spartans. Bolden is going to send this over shallow. Robert Shaw able to run in system, although it wasn't a perfect set, but it will be able to work. Kovacs still able to make a connection and send it down the line to score.
It looked a little dicey there. Kara Kovacs was looking to run something faster, and then it was a high set back. She had to hold. She didn't get much of an approach, but goes off high off the hands of Bolden and gets the point.
Gamache, Kamloti. Here's O'Doom with an aggressive tip down the line to drop it in to score.
Smart play by O'Doom. It was a tight set. She got there before the block could get their hands all over it, just pushes it straight down onto the sideline.
Maren Bolden stepping off, getting high fives from her teammates on the side, including Tamar Bill. It is now Savannah Purdy out there once again. Sending it down the line to Payson. UBC reversing direction, but can't convert. Kamloti will go with the middle attack. It was a one-on-one. Plouffe able to tip it over Kovacs, but couldn't finish. Kamloti back over to Plouffe, and she is blocked by Kovacs. Gamache keeping it alive, and then tipped deep by Ants O'Doom, but the net's going to move. The Spartans called on the net. O'Doom had picked the right spot. She had the vision there, but this point awarded to UBC.
Just the execution. O'Doom's hand grazing the net as she looked to be aggressive and push that one into the corner. UBC up by 2. Kara Kovacs with the serve.
Purdy, Kamloti, over to Ansa O'Doom, who could put power into that, sending it down the line. Now Trinity Western behind by 1.
Great answer back there by O'Doom on the right side. She's got 10 kills up there for tonight.
This drops in for an ace. Kaylee Plouffe with the C parting there as the ball comes across. We're tied 15-all. Both teams have already used 1 timeout. Plouffe, who had that career-high 13 kills last night. Robertson taking the block with her and sends that down, and last touch off of Trinity Western.
Trinity Western block has not had much of an answer for Jade Robertson's step around tonight. On that one, they got there, but they're drifting out. And Jade makes them pay, going hard off the hands of play.
Robert Shaw, too much power on this one. You're watching the U Sports Women's Volleyball National Championship. We are live on CBC, and given all the messages we are getting, we are live right around the world. This broadcast presented by Mikasa. Here is Ansa O'Doom. And she will be off the mark.
Captain Bryn Payson will head back to serve for UBC. She's had a couple of strong serving runs so far this match. Can she do it again?
4-player serve receive for Trinity Western. This goes to Purdy. Kamloti with the bump set to Mealy, going at the roll shot. Finds its way down the line, takes out the center. This roll shot, scramble on the Spartan side, and Mealy able to make an attack on it, rolls it over, handled by Pettit. O'Doom with a big push over to Mealy, using the block. No, this comes back.
The block lands just on the line there. UBC gets the point, and War Memorial erupts on that. T-Birds up by 2.
Take another look at this of Mealy trying to power that one through. You can see that crowd shot there. We are having some fun. It is loud here in Vancouver. Kamloti not going to get the dump this time around. She already has 2 kills. Won't get a third. Kamloti. Mealy is blocked again. Vermette and Robertson have shut down Mealy on that left side.
Well, difficult for Mealy on that one. They knew exactly where it was going. Telegraphed outside. The block just camped out there waiting for her. Buries it right into the hands of the block, and Trinity Western calling a timeout as they trail by 3.
And the Spartans were leading at one point in this set by 5. It was 8-3 when Doug Reimer called a timeout. And we have seen UBC respond from some timeouts. So whatever's being said there, that energy from the Thunderbirds, they have responded to the Spartans being in control. And I think one thing that we can say is it also helps with this crowd. Now we should touch on this, Emily, and we've touched on it a little before. We've got 6 graduating players on both sides. Walk us through, because you know this kind of feeling when you're playing your final match in U Sports. What is that like, and with so much pressure on the line as well?
You work, all year to get here, to get to the national championships. You feel so fabulous when you make it, and then you're just taking it game by game. For Trinity Western, they came here the #1 ranked seed. They want to go home with another championship. They have done what they need to do so far to get here. UBC, they've been the upstart team, feeding off of this crowd, playing their best volleyball of the year right when they needed it to make it to this point. So I'm just so impressed and so happy for these graduating players. They've all shown up. will all, no matter what happens, leave today knowing that they left it out on the court. No one has folded at any point. Even when a lead has happened, the other team has clawed back to make this just an entertaining volleyball.
Kamlodi over to Mealy, who goes off the antenna. So the Spartans having some difficulty with that left side attack from Mealy. And if you even look at that play for the Spartans, Mealy, Purdy, Kamlodi, all graduating players. 6 of them on the Spartan side, 6 of them on the UBC side, including Bryn Payson to put this ball in play. Her team up by 4.
Well, and it's been the serving of Bryn Payson that has set this up. Tough serving.
Gamache. Here's Mealy. What will she do here? The roll shot gets it through, not blocked this time around. Here's Pettit up against 2 blockers. Going to use the hands and score.
Again, tough serving by Bryn Payson is throwing off the Trinity Western offense. They haven't been able to get their full offense going, bringing in the middles because the passing hasn't been there. And just fabulous finish by Elise Pettit on that ball.
Payson, Purdy. Kamlodi getting it over to Mealy. She's blocked once again. That left side has not worked. Here we go. Mealy again rejected. Mealy, time and time again, unable to get through.
You see Trinity Western's going to switch things up here. A different look, give Megan Mealy a break.
Kirsten Campman stepping onto the floor. This is the first time we've seen her tonight. The 3rd year from Chilliwack, not too far from Vancouver, stepping out there. Setting up in this serve receive. Payson once again to put this ball in play. It's a 6-point lead right now. Here's Campman. He's going to send this hard to Jost. The block going up. Campman and Clay. Finally, that side out the Spartans were looking for.
Great answer back there. The substitution, Kirsten Campman setting up that block. She'll head back to serve now for Trinity Western.
So Campman, yeah, just stepping in here. Let's see how she does on her first serve. Goes to Pettit. Robert Shaw off the give and go. Pettit, a brilliant strike. Going cross court on Gamache.
Elise Pettit, automatic from the outside right now, leading all players by the 17 kills. She is playing her best volleyball.
Pettit with the kill. Meantime, on the Spartan side, Mealy is back in place of Campman. Pettit at 17 kills, leading the match in that category. Here's Clay, blocked again. The Spartans still alive though, they've got to get it between the antennas. Did that go through? Steve Hewison, referee 2, was slightly out of position, and all right, it's the Spartans' point.
There was a touch there, or it looked like there was a touch, and UBC certainly thought there was a touch on the defender just as that ball was going out of bounds. Referee not calling it. It's going to go Trinity Western's way.
Yeah, Doug Reimer.
Doug is not happy. Doug is not happy.
In protest, and Robert Shaw actually says, all right, coach, that's it. And now the other coaching staff coming and kind of grabbing him and pulling him back.
Yeah.
Robert Shaw over to Pettit, going off the hands, picked up by Mealy. Purdy able to make an attack on it, picked up by Jost. Here's the middle swing from Kovacs. Set point.
Kara Kovacs powering it through the block. Setting things up. UBC has a number of set points here to push this to a 5th and deciding set.
Vermette. Kamlodi able to keep it off of the net. She was being watched by Kovacs. Now Robert Shaw in system over to Pettit. She's been on fire. Yes! Scores from the left side. It's a 7-point victory in set number 4. And Emily, my goodness, here we go for the national championship, the electricity inside War Memorial. Stay with us. Who will win gold? The Trinity Western Spartans, UBC Thunderbirds. You are watching the U Sports Women's Volleyball National Championship presented by Mikasa.
setting.
Let's call it 2,000 fans here at War Memorial Gym. It is the championship final. We've got half of these fans standing up making noise. My name is Tim James, Emily Cordonier doing the color commentary. And just before the teams take the floor here, we're kind of wondering, Emily, what we're going to see from Doug Reimer and the UBC Thunderbirds when it comes to the lineup.
Doug's been mixing it up a little bit in the back half of that set. He ended up keeping his double substitution in with rookie setter Izzy Robert-Shaw setting and Erica Vermette in the right side, but he was making those changes out of strength, people doing well. So I'm interested to see who he goes with here. If starting setter Kayla Oxland's back in, if you've got Lucy Borowski on the right side. One thing's for sure is UBC ended up with some tremendous momentum at the end of that set and really got set up well with some tough serving. Bryn Payson back at the service line went on another long run, making it difficult. Trinity Western just had to keep jacking balls out to the outside, and the UBC block was ready and waiting, camped outside. Elise Pettit, another player we got to talk about here. She's up there with 18 kills, far and away leading any and all players, just having a fabulous night. But Trinity Western, you know, when they dropped the first set, they answered back with fabulous play, and they are the team that has gotten the better start. And this is only a set to 15, so UBC does not have the time to have a slow start in this set.
Here's Dora Kamlodi with one ace so far. And just moments ago, you saw the shot of the national championship, the trophy, here at War Memorial. Plouffe going up, putting up the block. This will be tight. O'Doom going to smack that back down on the UBC side. The first point going to the visitors, Trinity Western.
And it is starting setter Kayla Oxland back into the game for UBC, but it's Erica Vermette in the right side position, so Lucy Borowski on the bench for UBC.
4 players deep in the serve receive for UBC. Kamlodi. Oxland with a back set. Redirects off the block of mesh. Handles it briefly, but UBC coming right back to tie this one up in 1.
Kara Kovacs getting the opportunity to swing out of that right side on the outside. She's had great efficiency from there.
Kayla Oxland with 36 assists through the first 4 sets. Dora Kamlodi, though, leading the way with 43 through the first 4. Here's Kamlodi going over to O'Doom down the line. A hard one at Jost, and Jost, just a big smile on her face. Not much she could do with O'Doom. So much power delivering that from the right side.
Great line shots by O'Doom, getting to the ball quick, beating UBC's blocker there as she raced, basically trying to race to the outside to meet her.
Savannah Purdy with 3 aces, not going to get one here. And a perfect spot on the court picked up. So a quick side out with a tough rotation with Savannah Purdy serving. We've seen the evidence of that in this match. That is it for Purdy this go around.
I'm not going to say that was a pretty attack. I think Kovacs actually took that with her left hand. She's a right-handed attacker, but great vision to see where the open court was.
Pettit with a tough serve, picked up by Gamache, and here's O'Doom tipping over. Vermette able to get there to keep the ball alive. Hit aggressively back to Purdy. Kamlodi, still a decent ball over to Mealy, and Mealy continuing to struggle offensively from the left side.
Admittedly, I think the UBC block is in Mealy's head a little bit. She's had to hit some tough balls, high balls coming from the back row where she knows the UBC block is camped out on her.
Could we see Campman come back in? That's what we saw previously. Here's Mealy, this is going to be a tough one. Swats it at the block, Gamache going back to Mealy, tipping this over. Jost to Vermette. Off of hands. Thunderbirds score.
Solid play there by Erica Vermette, going high off the hands of Trinity Western's block, and Coach Ryan Hofer is going to call an early timeout as UBC is up 4-2 here in the 5th set.
Spartans, Thunderbirds, this is it. Trinity Western, if you don't know by now, the defending national champions. And we could just be a few moments away from crowning a new champion or the Spartans retaining their title.
UBC came into this tournament ranked 7th. They lost out in the quarterfinals of the Canada West playoffs to Manitoba, so they did not qualify in one of those positions. They qualified as the host. They took on Brock University in the first game, lost the first set, battled back to win in 4. Last night, taking on the 6th-ranked Manitoba, lost the first set, battled back. They were down 2-1 here, and they have pushed this to a 5th and deciding set. It has gone back and forth all match long, but UBC now with the 2-point lead, and Elise Pettit at the line.
This time the Thunderbirds don't need to battle back. Yes, they are up by 2. The Thunderbirds outblocking the Spartans tonight 16-9. A big part of that has been with Megan Mealy going to work from the left side. Where's Kamlody going to go? She's going to go with the middle attack to Plouffe. That went dangerously close to the roof. Sent over shallow. Now Kamlody again could go middle, and she does. So for the second straight time it goes over to Plouffe. Dug up by Purdy. Now Kamlody will go to O'Doom. And they seem to be avoiding Mealy there. That was back-to-back times to Plouffe, this time to O'Doom, picking up the kill.
Fantastic swings by Plouffe, but Casey Jost kept them alive twice there. O'Doom, though, great finish, playing it smart, off the hands, down the line. It'll put Plouffe back at the line. Trinity down by 1.
Here's Plouffe with 13 kills tonight. That ties her career high, which she achieved last night. Kamlody. O'Doom on top of it. Right side swing to score. We are tied after that timeout that was called just moments ago. Back-to-back points for Trinity Western.
Well, UBC's block has been so solid out on the left side attack, but they have not been able to solidly stop O'Doom here on the left side. That time Payson late to the block.
And Plouffe will be charged with her second service error. It is UBC back out in front. Plouffe will step off. Gamache will set up in the serve receive. Here's Kara Kovacs as the middles rotate front to back on the UBC side. Championship on the line. 5th and deciding set. Gamache. Fake in the middle, so just one blocker's going over, and O'Doom decides to go down the line, and she's off the mark.
Rare miss there by O'Doom. Another good set by Kamlody, got the one-on-one. She had a lot of room, but just a little bit too hungry. Goes wide on that attack.
As you can see, Robertson wasn't able to close the block, but instead it was a line shot. Didn't matter, didn't land in. 2-point advantage for UBC. Kovacs, service error. We've seen a couple of service errors here in this 5th and deciding set. 15, the magic number. Who will get there first?
Well, it will be Ansa O'Doom, who has been very efficient for Trinity Western in the front row. She will head back now to serve.
O'Doom!
There's just such pressure when you're going back to the service line. At this point in the game, championship final, you got the noise of the crowd.
So Michaela McBain's going to come in. It's a defensive substitution in the serve receive. You've got Purdy, Gamache, and McBain for Trinity Western. Purdy. Kamlody. Stepping around is Clay. An aggressive swing cross court, and she's going to score. Quick side out for Trinity Western.
Great swing by Clay and a good job by Kamlody. Didn't want to keep going back out to the left side where UBC's block has been the strongest. She mixes up that offense, and Clay has success.
Here's Mealy. Despite her struggles from the left side, in double digits in kills with 10. Perfect spot pick by Robertson.
Great job by Jade Robertson to see the open court. And that will take us to 8 points where the two teams will switch sides. They go right back onto the court. There's no timeout here unless the team calls it. UBC leading 8-6.
We thank you for watching online. We wish you could be here feeling this. If you love volleyball, my goodness. This is a highlight of my broadcast career. I don't know about you, Emily, but this is exciting here. We got about 2,000 fans. It is UBC, the host, taking on the defending national champions, Trinity Western Spartans. We have fans that have made the drive in from Langley throughout the lower mainland here in beautiful British Columbia. We have volleyball fans that have collected in Vancouver. This is the final match. 3 days of volleyball. The number 7 seeded UBC Thunderbirds in front right now by 2 points.
Smart play there by Clay. Casey Jost was deep on the line, waiting for a big swing, and Clay just pops it over the block.
Here we go for Clay. Payson forcing her setter to make a bump set. Pettit will send it over down the line, picked up by McBain, who subbed in for O'Doom, and then it's a left side swing for the Spartans. They will score. And we are tied at 8-all. Back-to-back points after the team switched sides.
UBC is going to use their double substitution right now. Izzy Robert-Shaw replacing Erica Vermette. She'll head into the back row. Lucy Borowski coming in for Kayla Oxland. That gives UBC 3 attackers in the front row.
Here's Clay. Pettit blocked. Robert-Shaw back over to Pettit, blocked again. Will there be a third time? Here we go, number 3, the third time, rolling it down the line, picked up by Mealy. And there's Purdy able to wipe it off the block on the far side. The Spartans responding after switching sides here.
They were down by 2. They've battled back for 3 straight points. The Spartans up by 1, and it's going to be UBC coach Doug Reimer using a timeout.
Yeah, the Spartans used a timeout back when it was 4-2, and then momentum has shifted. And that has been a theme that we have seen throughout the night, with momentum shifting repeatedly. And we have seen UBC come back before, so I wouldn't be surprised coming out of this timeout to see the Thunderbirds battle back, although the Spartans, the defending national champions, #1 team in the country, let's see how they respond as well. And we look at the attack efficiency on both sides. The Spartans hitting at 18%, UBC at 22%. When it comes to the blocks, the Birds win in the blocks 16-9 right now. Service aces, the Spartans out in front at 7-5 at this point here in the 5th set. And 3 of those 7 aces coming from Savannah Purdy on the Trinity Western side.
Well, it's Michaela Clay who's been back serving on this service run. UBC looking for a side out.
Clay. Here's Robert-Shaw. Robertson from the right side, getting the kill, her 9th of the night.
Tremendous power by Jade Robertson, throwing down that cross-court kill to tie the game up at 9.
The assist to Robert-Shaw. Again, that switch here in the 5th set. It was Oxland to start. Robert-Shaw coming in. Robert-Shaw in the back right now. Here's Dora Kamlodi, setting to the middle. It's Plouffe. Pettit. Kamlodi going over to Purdy, rolls this in perfectly, drops before Robertson to score.
Sort of the difference in there when you don't have Casey Jost on the floor. She's off for that one rotation when Robertson's in, and Jost is the one who just cleans up all those balls.
Couple of substitutions on the Spartan side, so McBain stepping off, Purdy as well. Now it's Marin Bolden in, as well as Ansa O'Doom. So that front row for Trinity Western with Kamlodi serving. You've got Plouffe in the middle, O'Doom on the right side, and Bolden on the left. Here we go. Kamlodi. It's Plouffe with the finish out of the middle. Trinity Western up by 2.
Doug Reimer calling another timeout. He waited a few, but he's going to use it here. Trinity Western up by 2. They fought back after trailing by 2 at the 8-point switch.
This is crunch time here. The second timeout taken by Coach Reimer, but we have seen it before tonight. You have seen it as well if you've been watching this match. The Thunderbirds have been able to respond.
All the fans are urging them on here.
The men's volleyball team, you had pointed out, part of the crew that came out, and I think you mentioned the football team as well.
Football, basketball, I think any team that is in town and not traveling for their own games this weekend is here cheering.
Thunderbirds first to take the court. There's athletic director Jeff Gamache banging the drum for Trinity Western. His daughter Emma Gamache, the libero. Gamache playing in her final match in the university level. This is it. Here's Dora Kamlodi, also a graduating player, and she's going to get the ace.
Tough serve there by Kamlodi, rising up on Elise Pettit. She can't get behind it in time. Trinity Western 1 point closer.
Borowski going off the block. Oh, Doom! And there was another opportunity, but not going to get it. UBC back within 2.
And that double substitution. Double substitution is going to be made with Lucy Borowski coming back out of the game. Kayla Oxland in setting. Erica Vermette coming into the front row. And it will be Oxland to serve.
So setter in the back row for UBC. Oxland, no aces tonight. The Thunderbirds with 5 aces amongst 5 players. Oxland not one of them, and hey, there you go!
There you go! First ace of the night, and what a time to get it, pulling UBC back within 1.
Doug Reimer seated, many of the fans standing. All eyes on Oxland. Her left hand sends it to Gamache, mishandled, and there you go again.
Another service ace, back-to-back service aces for Kayla Oxland, who is on the bench, comes into the court, and it's going to be a timeout called by Trinity Western. UBC has tied it up at 12.
It was the Spartans that called that first timeout at 4-2. The team was able to respond and force a couple of timeouts on the UBC side. And now here we are tied at 12-12. And get ready, buckle up, because we are about to see who will be the national champion. There are no more timeouts. This is it. No more switching sides. Will it be the Spartans? Will it be the Thunderbirds?
I'm seeing Doug. I know he's talking about the block here. They know that Trinity's going to come back with some really great offensive options. You can see all those mannerisms. He's talking about getting ready on the block.
It's the Spartans already back out there on the court. UBC soaking up the time here. Now the home side returning to the floor.
Kayla Oxland, one of those graduating seniors, here playing her last game in U Sports.
Gamache. O'Doom. Purdy. There's Pennant going to work. Gamache is reaching, but it's the Thunderbirds now in front by 1.
It all starts with a tough serve. Kayla Oxland has delivered. That forced a free ball over the net by Trinity Western that set up that kill from Pettit.
2 aces so far for Oxland. A substitution in the Spartans serve receive as Campman comes out in place of Mealy. This ball will go to Campman. Kamlodi over to Purdy. Roll shot. Kamlodi. It's going to be tight to the net. UBC scores. This is it. Match point in the national championship with Oxland serving.
UBC needs to keep their composure. The emotions running so high when they've got match point and this kind of crowd behind them. They came in the 7th seed, pulled off 2 upsets, and now 1 point away.
Gamache, no points to give, and it's a free ball for UBC for the national championship. Here is Oxland going over to Pettit. A hard swing, dug up though. Now over to O'Doom, tipping it over top of the block, picked up by Vermette. Oxland over to Pettit for the win! The Thunderbirds, the number 7 seed, is number 1. The Thunderbirds taking the title away from the defending national champions, the Spartans. Despite the fans coming from nearby Trinity Western, it didn't matter. War Memorial, this is UBC's yard.
And what a way to do it. 5 sets, 15-12 in the 5th.
I don't know if we could ask for anything more, especially the bronze medal match going to that 5th and deciding set as well.
To see these UBC Thunderbirds bring out their absolute best volleyball. 3 games in a row to take the national championship. They won it in 2019. A couple of these players were part of that team. They were rookies on that 2019 team. COVID hit. This championship was delayed. They did not qualify last year. This year, they would not have qualified if not for this host berth. And here they do it, defeating the #1 ranked Trinity Western Spartans for this gold medal.
You can see on the players tears of joy and tears of defeat, as this is it for 12 players on both sides when you combine it. 6 for the Spartans, 6 for the Thunderbirds, graduating. This is it. This is the end of a university career. Doug Reimer, another national championship for the Thunderbirds. For UBC, those grads, Elise Pettit, Kayla Oxland, Jade Robertson, Kira Kovacs, Courtney Hilliard, Bryn Payson as well. Dora Kamlodi, recognized as the Mikasa Player of the Match, finishing with 52 assists to lead the match in that category.
She played a tremendous game and was also tremendously solid from the service line too.
2 aces and 2 kills for Kamlodi. And here we go, one of the standouts from last night will be the standout here. The Mikasa Player of the Match is Jade Robertson with 9 kills, hitting 50%, picked up an ace in addition to 5 blocks.
Jade was injured for most of last year. She's had to work through a number of concussions, so to see her battle back and to just play so fabulously in her last U Sports tournament is just great.
And here we go, it could be an emotional handshake again. You've got tears of joy and tears of defeat as the grads are coming together, but even as I take a look at Dora Kamlodi, still a big smile on her face. She knows this is it in her 5th and final season. Celebration for the Thunderbirds, and we know we've had a few alumni watching online, so thank you so much for joining us. The Thunderbirds in that 5th and deciding set, hitting 41%, picking up 9 kills. The Spartans at 35%.
I mean, I'm not crying. A little bit of emotion here.
You know, but even for you being emotional, I'm sure some of our viewers are, I'm sure some of the people here at War Memorial, but take a look at the pace that this lineup is moving when it comes to the handshake. There is emotion being exchanged and words being exchanged on both sides. A lot of respect, I imagine, for both sides. This rivalry between these lower mainland teams, the Spartans and the Thunderbirds, and it comes to a conclusion here. We've mentioned it before. The #7 seed UBC did not even qualify necessarily from earning their spot. They got it because they were the host. There was some doubt, and they came in and they proved themselves this tournament.
Well, tremendous class being shown by Trinity Western too, going through, shaking the hands of all the officials, and Doug Reimer taking some extra time with those Trinity players. I know talking to Doug over this season, he was so impressed with Trinity's caliber, saying they're just playing so well, they're just playing so well, and they played so well. They fought so hard right to the end, but UBC couldn't have written it better from a hosting team perspective to come in and perform like they did.
I think there was some question, of course, at the start. When they're the number 7 seed, they're going up against the Ontario champion, Brock. And so we're going in, you might have saw that and said, okay, maybe UBC's got one meaningful game. But no, they got past Brock. They continued on, and here they are. And we have a sold-out War Memorial Gym, 2,000 fans here. Again, you're right, Emily. You couldn't have read a better script for the home side.
Fair play award goes to number 3 from Dalhousie University, Brett Bolden.
Brett Bolden from Dalhousie being announced as the fair play winner. She was the setter for Dalhousie. Dalhousie taking the bronze medal in a huge move for Atlantic Canada for that conference, earning a second berth into next year's national championships.
And it looks like we're trying to get an interview with coach of UBC, Doug Reimer, so stand by for that. We're going to continue this post-match coverage with the UBC Thunderbirds winning a thriller in 5 sets. And it looks like we are joined by coach of UBC, Doug Reimer. So first of all, Doug, congratulations to you. You've done it again. What's the emotion like? You've been here before, but here you've done it on your home court.
Yeah, unbelievable. And just so to the fans and the excitement in here, you know, like I've never felt that before. I don't even think I've witnessed it in a visiting gym. And you know, like just the quality of the match and the back and forth. And if you don't like that, I don't think you like sports or entertainment. So that just so wonderful to be a part of it.
You know, Doug, so many times tonight, it was the Spartans out in front, and your team would call a timeout, call another timeout, and you would bounce back. It would be the Thunderbirds changing the momentum. What did you say in those huddles? Even going back to the second set, it was 11-2 at one point, and you were able to close that gap.
Yeah, I think that was actually pretty important that we hung in there. We've talked a lot about, you know, like there's basic things you got to do, but I think you got to, it was reminding them, almost like zooming out a little bit, hey guys, if a month ago we said we're in our home gym, packed gym, we're up 1-0 or we're down 2-1 even, doesn't matter. Let's think, how would we want to play? And there was times we got a little bit tentative, but then we rebounded from that. So I'm just super impressed with how, you know, individual after individual just raised their game there and put some pressure, because if you just hung back, if you hung back on Trinity, you can see what happens. You get down kind of 10-2. And I just thought both teams worked so hard in so many areas, like both the pass and then the serving. I mean, it's, you know, to be honest, very grateful. Like you look, Kayla went back and served, what, 6 straight points. That could change. That could be the other way. And you're talking to Ryan right now.
Well, Doug, this is Emily jumping in. I'm going to try and keep emotion out of my voice. But watching the seniors especially step up and just play their best volleyball for UBC of the whole year here at the tournament. Yeah. Tell me a little bit what it meant to see them excel on that stage.
Great question, and exactly, you know, you're just sitting there going, you're so grateful they're just giving it, right, and raise their play. Like if you look at Elise and how hard she went after it, and Jade and Casey. And I thought Kara was outstanding in so many areas that, you know, it took everybody, but you're absolutely right. And so such a team effort and playing well. And while I'm still talking, you look, Erica came back in that 4th set, and I thought she blocked so well. And, you know, that and a few other people, that really helped us.
And here we have the All-Stars being named, some of those seniors that we've mentioned, Elise Pettit, who just had the most phenomenal game here to finish off her career, Jade Robertson on the team too, and Casey Jones. So just fabulous to watch, and I know as all the alumni, you know, couldn't have asked for a better script here this weekend.
Totally.
Well, Doug, I just want to say I'm not going to ask you any questions about tying shoes. Instead, I'm going to let you get back down there to celebrate this victory.
Right on.
Doug, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks a lot.
That is the head coach of the UBC Thunderbirds, Doug Reimer, picking up another national championship. And this time you could feel the emotion when he was speaking to us, because he has won this on his home court here at War Memorial Gym.
I know Doug too. Doug and the Thunderbirds under his reign have bid 5 times to get the national championship, and we're turned down until this time. So they've been waiting a long time, 40 years, to host in this gym and get the chance to just play in front of this crowd, let alone win a championship.
It is now the Spartans. You can see that they're emotional. Being awarded from Rick Hansen the silver medals. It's a valiant effort. They will end the season on a losing note, but still going back to the national championship, a championship that they won last year in Calgary. 6 graduating players for Trinity Western, including Michaela Clay, Dora Kumloti, Ansa O'Doon, Megan Mealy, Emma Gamache, and Savannah Purdy. And that is one player in Purdy who is just receiving her medal, or just received it. She is one player who is a first-team All-Star in U Sports and will not be returning. Again, a graduating player. It will be a much different look for Trinity Western next season. You could see evidence of who might be some of those players stepping up into those available roles. We saw Michaela McBain coming in, defensive specialist, with graduating Emma Gamache, the libero. McBain could step into that potentially. And then Maren Bolden as well, subbing in. We've seen her. She will not be graduating. She's just in her rookie season. An offensive threat for Trinity Western. Haley Plouffe, the last one I was just going to mention, that she's the one person that started that is not graduating and will be returning next season.
Huge player for Trinity Western, and I was just going to say, you see our tournament's honorary chair, Rick Hansen, who was taking an extra moment to really chat to each of those Trinity players. Such a volleyball fan. He was here watching all the bronze, all the gold, and you just know he has such an appreciation for what all these players left on the court.
Well, the last name on that trophy, which is inside War Memorial Gym right now, the last name, Trinity Western Spartans. It will not be Trinity Western once again. As the gold medals are handed out, Jost putting her hands to her face, an excited libero. And Jost, boy, did she play well here tonight.
Just phenomenal. She was the Canada West Libero of the Year. Just everywhere, all over the court, picking up so many balls, keeping the Thunderbirds in those rallies.
Jost leading the way in digs with 25. On the other side for the Spartans, Emma Gamache with 15, the other libero. She is a graduating player. And actually for the Spartans, it was Dora Kumloti, the setter, leading in digs with 21. As the Spartans look on, it's the Thunderbirds being celebrated with these gold medals. Elise Pettit finishing with 20 kills in this 5-set match. Kira Kovacs with 13. Robertson, who was awarded as the Bacasa player of the match, with 9 kills. But it's not just about kills. She also had an ace, as well as 5 blocks for Robertson out of the middle. Lucy Borowski finishing with 9 kills, a player that didn't start, but made her presence felt here on this Sunday night.
Well, some tremendous role players who came in and did their job. Lucy Borowski and Erica Vermette, they shared that job tonight. They both probably saw equal time, and when they came in, they made a difference. Doug Reimer mentioned Vermette coming in and just getting some huge blocks. Kayla Oxlund at the end coming in and serving 6 in a row, so key at those needed moments.
Rick Hansen presenting those gold medals. This is the U Sports Women's Volleyball National Championship presented by Mikasa. Thank you for watching on CBC. If you've been watching all weekend long, we definitely appreciate that. Also the messages to usportschampionship@gmail.com. We have loved to connect with you throughout the 3 days of this tournament. And now the trophy is on the move. Two players from my hometown of Delta standing up and celebrating. It is the UBC Thunderbirds, the 2023 U Sports Women's Volleyball National Champions.
What a moment to be able to do that in front of your friends, your family, your other UBC athletes, all this home crowd here to support you.
The Spartans meeting in a little team huddle here, and it's the Thunderbirds with many of their fans sticking around, some of them even rushing out to the floor. I don't know what the rules are with security here at War Memorial Gym, but nonetheless, I can't blame them. So excited.
I think the fans actually hopped over the fence where we didn't even have security people positioned to be able to take part in that post-game celebration after that winning point.
Because I definitely noticed there's more security around here, because for me, I was going just in and out from the underground to back upstairs, and security was stopping me, and it's like, I've been around here all weekend, but we're looking for the pass. That's fair. More security here for this gold medal match. Many fans rushing the floor. What a treat it has been for the hometown fans here on campus. The UBC Thunderbirds. It has been 40 years since the last tournament, and now national champions in women's volleyball. I know I've made the comment earlier on, Emily, that where does this rank up in your career? Now, you've covered the Olympics, so I realize kind of silly of me to say that.
No, I didn't chime in on that one. I didn't chime in. I was going to say, like, the Olympics gold medal was pretty cool, but I have to say, this is a different level of special.
Yes.
I'm a tried to be as impartial as possible, but I am a UBC Thunderbird, former Thunderbird here. I work here at UBC, helped put on this tournament, prepare it. I know what went into it. I know that UBC, was focusing one game on a time, but admittedly, they didn't think they would be here in this national final. And then, with each game, with each win, with improving on each one, to see it in their sights and see it realized, it's very special.
We have had to see them bounce back so many times. You talked about them dropping the first set in matches throughout this tournament, and they have fought back. And even tonight, we talked about that with Doug Reimer in that interview just a few minutes ago, that the team has had to respond. You see that resiliency. Now, I just took a look over to my right there and looking at some of the emotion for the Trinity Western Spartans. Savannah Purdy among the players with tears in her eyes. This is it. The career has come to an end at the university level. It is a special time. And Emily, also I want to touch on, you mentioned that you're part of this organizing committee that brought this tournament here. So what has it been like to lead up to this? Because, for me, it's just, I was just to say I was a casual fan. Spectacular weather. You had nothing to do with that, the beautiful sunshine you've had in Vancouver. But what goes into it for 2,000 fans to come out and cheer on the Thunderbirds to win the national title?
Our organizing committee just did an absolutely fabulous job, working so hard to put this on. There was a coaches conference that was timed at the same time that Doug was also working on leading up to this. There was a Women's and Leadership Network event that went on. There was an alumna event where we had 100 people RSVP for an alumna event all at the same time. So many moving pieces, so many moving parts to make this happen. So to be able to, see the hosting committee put this on, but then also get to see the home team, come out with the gold medal is just incredible. What a payoff.
Because I was watching, of course, UBC in 2019 when I was doing play-by-play out at the University of Alberta. For that national championship, I saw UBC win. I saw the emotion, but it is different. You're absolutely right when you're saying that this hits, regardless of the Olympics, this hits on a different level because it's on home court for a team that means so much to you. And even for me, I never went to UBC, but it does shock you. It kind of really sets in when you do it at home with your fans. And this was one that was not necessarily expected. As the number 7 seed, they come in and they are number 1.
And I'm just so happy to see the caliber of the volleyball that was played, to be able to see the bronze medal game going to 5 sets like that, to have this game, not be a blowout of the number 1 seed over the 7, but have them go toe-to-toe battling, playing just excellent volleyball. Both teams have so much to leave being proud of, and I know I've been the silver medalist. The silver medal stings for sure. You want the championship, but I'm just so impressed with those Trinity Western players and how they played today.
It is the UBC Thunderbirds winning in 5 sets on home court to be the 2023 U Sports Women's Volleyball National Champions. It is time for us to say goodbye, so thank you to everyone who builds this broadcast. We hope you enjoy it, including the SportsCanada.tv crew, the camera operators, Mike, Jillian, Jaden, Bobby, Dylan, the director Leanne Evans, all putting this broadcast together that you have seen on CBC, presented by Mikasa. Also at UBC, the senior manager of communications, Stu Walters, the executive producer, Choi L. Brown, Emily Cordonier. It has been a pleasure doing the commentary with you tonight.
This has been great, Tim.
Thank you so much.
Well done.
And from Vancouver, we say good night from UBC.
Thunderbird parents who are now allowed to come down to the court and celebrate